more than a full percent, and the S&P's down more than 0.5%. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Smell and Mark McKay is in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Difficult trying to get from Doraville into Dunwoody, Sabrina, and we know why. On the jam cam, we see a crash right center lane knocked out 285 westbound right before Buford Highway, just west of I-85. Without working in that position, that is also putting quite the pressure on 85 south. Right lanes especially are getting crowded southbound, leaving Jimmy Carter Boulevard exit 99, trying to work your way into the I-285 interchange. Clear that, you're in good shape through downtown, midtown, 75, 400, and 575, all working well, headed south toward I-285. Smile Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, warming up to the upper 50s to low 60s. Scattered rain showers arrive later this evening. They'll continue overnight into early tomorrow morning with lows in the low 40s. As the rain moves out tomorrow, the cooler air moves in, highs in the low 50s, dropping down to the 20s by Thursday morning.
48 degrees in Buckhead. It's 51 in Villa Rica. Jefferson has 46 degrees. We'll have more news at noon. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
When the weather is at its worst,
one of the greater wind gusts that I saw today was 60 miles per hour at the Atlanta airport.
We're at our best.
After last weekend's ice storm, Georgia DOT crews are ready to respond to this weekend's snow.
The Weather Watch never stops.
We have snow showers in Stonecrest, Conyers, Covington on I-20.
95.5 WSB.
Your severe weather station.
Coming up next, Richard Elliott from Channel 2 joins us with misinformation on AI that we need to be aware of. And Deborah's got a $150 Spa Sidel gift certificate to give away. All of that straight ahead on The Mark Arum Show.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Flowers and chocolates are okay, but an insanely clean home from Zerorez Carpet Cleaning is sure to impress your loved one. Only Zerorez uses ZR water to clean your carpets and other surfaces without harsh chemicals. To make things sweeter, they leave zero residue behind, so your carpets stay cleaner longer, which means soft and fluffy carpets. Right now, take 20% off Zerorez standard cleaning services when you mention WSB or book online at ZerorezAtlanta.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2, ox, camel, and a kangaroo.
11:37 on the Mark Arum Show. Coming up in 30 minutes, I'm going to give you another keyword in the 5K a day bonus blitz. Yet another chance for you to win $1,000 here on 95.5 WSB. You do not need to wait 30 minutes to win. However, Deborah, we've got another amazing gift certificate to give away.
Yeah, a $150 gift certificate to Spa Sidel. You can spoil your loved ones this Valentine's Day with self-care at Spa Sidel. The iconic Big Burgundy gift certificate or e-card available now at spasidel.com.
Heard. Let's do the the seventh caller to Vinny at 404-872-0750. Seventh caller to 404-872-0750 wins a $150 gift certificate to Spa Sidel, courtesy of the Mark Arum Show on 95.5 WSB. I mentioned earlier in the show, Deborah loves to mess around with AI and make funny images for us, and I put one up in my Instagram story at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Full disclosure, Richard Elliott from Channel 2, that's the limit of my AI knowledge, is Deborah making funny images for us. But you got a report coming up tonight on Channel 2. As AI improves, misinformation risks will be worse than ever as some turn to AI-generated videos to further their political agendas. This is serious stuff.
Well, first I wanted to find out if I was the seventh caller, because that sounded outstanding.
You were caller one, Richard. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm always just a little bit short.
Yes.
It's a big concern in the world of politics, even as some politicians are beginning to embrace it. It's AI, it's deep fakes, it's what you can do, what you can't do, what you should do, and what you shouldn't do with AI when it comes to generating political ads. And there's a lot of buzz and chatter about it down here at the Capitol. I don't know if you can hear. I'm actually at the Capitol. I'm in one of the old phone booths that they've refurbished for cell phone use.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would imagine that like candidates on the ballot wouldn't want to mess around with this, but maybe it would be the PACs or the special interest groups that might dip their toes in this nefarious AI world.
Well, actually, one candidate for Senate, Republican candidate Mike Collins, actually dipped his toe in it a couple of months ago. They ran I don't know if you call it an ad so much. It was a video where they did an AI version of Senator Ossoff, where Senator Ossoff seemed to say that he was voting to shut down the government, which obviously never actually happened. And it was just an AI-generated video. The Collins campaign said, look, it was just a parody. It is perfectly legal under the First Amendment, which it all is in Georgia. But it began to get some people more aware of some of the things that you can and can't do. And again, what should you and what shouldn't you do?
And the problem, Richard, I imagine, is these AI deepfakes are getting so realistic that the average voter might not be able to tell that it's a parody or satire.
Right. Right now, it's still kind of rubbery looking. If you look at the piece we have on Channel 2 Action News tonight, you'll see a couple of deepfakes of me that I don't think look that real. But if you're just doom scrolling through your phone and you don't pay close attention to it, it might get you. But in the future, some of the stuff that I've seen, you cannot tell the difference. And it's kind of amazing and it's kind of frightening as to what they can and can't do.
A couple of weeks ago, consumer advocate Clark Howard posted a deep fake video that someone did of him endorsing some product, and it looked and sounded just like Clark, and he had to put a video out and say, hey, this is not me. I mean, I've been friends with Clark Howard for almost 30 years, and I was like, holy smokes, that is Clark Howard endorsing this product. That's scary stuff.
Right, and the thing is that, obviously, if he wanted to, Clark could sue over that using his image. But it also might become illegal. I think it is illegal. It's fraud. But in the political world, where is the line? The lines are kind of blurred. What can I do? What can I do? What constitutes legitimate political advertising, characterizing your opponent a certain way? And what does it? And where is that line? And that's what some people here at the Capitol are still trying to figure out. They don't know yet.
All right. What time is your AI report going to air on Channel 2 this evening, buddy?
Well, I don't know if I should tell you. Yeah, 5:45.
5:45
tomorrow.
All right, from the Superman phone booth at the state capitol. Richard, thanks for your time. Tell Jonathan O'Brien to buy your lunch on me.
Oh, I've already told him that.
Oh, good. All right, Richard Elliott, always a pleasure. Yeah, God forbid, like, I don't want anyone making an AI deep fake of me.
There's enough video with this feed that they
know.
can do stuff like that.
What would really tick me off? A deep fake AI.
I hate fast food.
Fast food is the worst.
Don't buy baseball cards.
Yeah. I don't even want to put that out there. Speaking of fast food, Deborah, these are two words that I never associated together. McDonald's and caviar. And McDonald's, I think, is coming up on a trend where, caviar makers are pairing. Usually you put them on little bellinis with creme fraiche. But like some fancy restaurants in New York are serving chicken nuggets with caviar, and McDonald's is now a part of this. What?
So this kind of started on the Tickety Talks, right? Like people were saying, oh, you can put caviar here and there. So McDonald's is like, all right, we're going to jump into it. They're releasing these limited edition McNugget caviar kits, and they're specifically for Valentine's Day. Now, here's the thing. They're not going to be available until February 10th, and it doesn't tell you which locations they're going to be at. So you kind of have to randomly go in and see if they have it, but not all of them are going to carry it. It is going to have some caviar, a $25 McDonald's Arch card, some creme fraiche, and then you also get a mother of pearl spoon. And they're thinking that's what people are going to want to collect more than anything else.
The mother of pearl McDonald's spoon.
Yeah.
So I know this is going to sound really bougie of me, but I do like caviar. I'm not like Tom Hanks in Big where I spit it out. And for Hanukkah, Maya ordered latkes and caviar. I was like, that is an amazing. I love, potato pancakes with and it wasn't that good. It wasn't bad, but the caviar taste got lost in the latke taste, which is why I don't think I'd be on board with putting caviar in a chicken nugget. That impacts 0 people. I apologize. But I was like, what is McDonald's doing? Listen to this audio, folks.
To keep going for so long, he's absolutely amazing. And his dad are super proud.
That's Joanne Appleby. Her and her husband are super proud of their 13-year-old kid. Why is this 13-year-old kid, Deborah, being praised down under?
Yeah, this is pretty amazing. So this is in Australia, but this 13-year-old boy had to swim 2.5 miles in the ocean, and it took him about 4 hours because his family were swept out to sea. They were all paddleboarding together when these waves came in, and he thought, I can use my kayak, but that started to get waterlogged. Then he took off his life vest because he says it was slowing him down, and he just kept swimming and swimming until he got to shore, and he was able to alert emergency services, and then they were all able to go back out and get his family. His mother, his father, and his brother and sister were all just clinging to these paddle boards for hours trying to stay afloat.
How long did he have to swim to save his family?
It says ocean waters for 4 hours. Can you imagine that?
And this is Australia, right? Great white shark kind of waters.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. That kid's going to get away with anything he wants for the rest of his teen years.
I hope they put him in the Olympic team.
Doesn't Australia ban social media for teens? They might even lift the ban.
Yeah,
like, hey,
do.
Get on TikTok, kid. That's like next level super. That's Colby Cannoli superhero stuff.
That's just like adrenaline and determination, right?
4 hours to say that's remarkable. Very proud of that kid. That's fantastic. All right, 11:45 on the Mark Arum Show. I got to give some congratulations out. Lance from Duluth won the tickets to see Paul Simon July 13th at Chastain. Fantastic prize pack. And then Mark in Cumming just won the $150 Sposadale gift certificate. We're going to have both of those tomorrow?
We'll have both of those tomorrow, too.
I feel like Bob Barker. You don't even have to spin a wheel. You just got to call a number. Fantastic.
I think Bob Barker's been gone so much that people don't even associate him with
he's a
Price is Right
legend.
anymore.
Even Vinny knows who Bob Barker is. So congrats to Lance and Mark. Your chance to win $1,000 coming up after the new news here on 95.5 WSB. It is the infamous 5K a day bonus splits. I'm going to give you a keyword right after the new news, and you can win $1,000 just like that. 11:46, we got to check the roads again. Back to the 24-hour traffic center. Smile and Mark McKay.
Crash on the north side perimeter. Mark has gone to the shoulder, 285 westbound at Buford Highway, exit 32. So improved as you leave Tucker through Doraville and into Dunwoody. Still some leftover slowing on I-85 approaching I-285 out of Norcross. Right lanes especially heavy from Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99 down to Pleasantdale Road. DJ Ron, our traffic trooper heading out of Lithonia Stonecrest. Ron says, yep, that backed up traffic on I-20 eastbound all has to do with construction. You're funneling into just one right lane on I-20 eastbound past Panola Road, exit 71. You can use Covington Highway. It's open this morning as an alternate. That water main repair work being done in the right lane of Covington Highway westbound at DeKalb Medical Parkway. Smile and Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
I just won $1,000 on WSB.
WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
That is awesome.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 12 p.m.
Are you serious?
95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Are you trying to sell your home the traditional way? Weeks of showings, perfectly timed vacuuming, awkward strangers judging your furniture. Then the price drops start, followed by the slow emotional descent into, well, let's just take the offer. Or you could try Orchard. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy your next place before you even think about selling the current one. You move in, breathe, maybe even sit on a couch that isn't covered in plastic for staging. Meanwhile, Orchard handles everything with the old place. Repairs, upgrades, marketing, without you lifting a finger. And then, when it sells for more, which it usually does, you get a second check. One when you move, one when it sells. No begging, no bargaining, no baking cookies before every open house. Just a better way to move. Get your free home valuation at Orchard.com. That's Orchard.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell.
And I'm Monica Pearson. Dale and I have worked together for years, first at WSB, and today helping you find Georgia's best companies and sharing why they're the best.
Monica, one of the first companies I researched and recommended is AMCO Transmissions and Total Car Care. For more than a dozen years, they've consistently met my 7-point standard and honored my Make It Right guarantee. And I know you believe in AMCO just as much as I do.
Dale, over the years, we've both reported about people getting taken advantage of. So I'm keenly aware what it takes to deliver not just great performance, but great customer service. People who follow my advice literally stop me on the street and thank me for referring them to AMCO.
We all need mechanics we can trust for correct diagnosis, efficient repair, and fair price. Not just for transmission repair, but engines, brakes, check engine lights, and so much more. Call the locally owned AMCO near you.
And I know their nationwide warranty protects you everywhere.
That's AA.
MCO.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Are you turning 65 or new to Medicare? Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Well, here you go. The matchup a lot of folks have been waiting. Struck him out, but Spencer Strider just beat his own record he set last year.
Oh, that's 2003 cut from
strikeouts.
Bally Sports South. I forgot what it was called back in 2023. That was Spencer Strider striking out Shohei Ohtani. Braves country waking up to questions about the Braves television future, Deborah. The Braves made a post on social media. Do we have any clarification where the Braves will be on TV in 2026?
Not exactly yet. So, they're preparing to make their own in-house network for games. So they ended their contract with Main Street Sport Ground, and that was the one that kind of, you can watch these games on this channel and these games on this app. And I think it's just too much for people. Like, where can I watch the game? I just want to watch it somewhere. So the Braves kind of want control to create their own channel where you can do this, but they haven't given any more details. They're just saying, don't worry about this next season, which starts in another month or so.
Yeah.
This season's going to be normal. Anything after that, it'll be like next season.
The questions that Braves country had was like, is it going to be an app? Is it going to be a streaming service? Are there going to be blackouts? I mean, it's been a struggle the last couple of years to watch the Braves on TV. As long as they keep our dude Nick Green as part of the pre- and post-game show, I don't care where you have it. I will find it. I will stream it. I'll download it. Whatever you got to do. Very excited about the Braves this year. Anyway, SNAP benefit work requirements are now in order, Deborah. Obviously, with the government shutdown, we saw the loss of SNAP benefits. What are the new work requirements for SNAP?
So this came out of the big, beautiful bill. They took about $186 billion away from SNAP, and they put some new requirements on there. So if you're on SNAP and you're between the age of 18 and 65 with no dependents, you must either attend a work program or work part-time at least 80 hours a month if you want to keep receiving those SNAP benefits.
I'm going to do the math. That's 20 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the age bracket?
18 to 65, so working age, adulthood.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's retirement after that, right?
All right.
Yeah.
But even though there's a partial government shutdown right now, SNAP benefits
SNAP
are
are suspended right now.
Yeah. I forgot to even mention that. We are still in the partial government shutdown. We'll see what the House decides to do. All right, time to find out what you now know because of the Mark Arum Show. Now you know.
I think this administration is careening out of control. It speaks to the importance of there being checks and balances here in Washington when you have a president behaving this way.
Senator Jon Ossoff joined us on the show commenting on the government shutdown, the changes to ICE, and their cut about the FBI raid here in the Fulton County Election Office in the state of Georgia. Again, that was Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff earlier on the show. Now you know.
There is a perniciousness to what's happening here, that this is potentially, in effect, to chill voters, to dissuade voters from coming to the polls in November, that this is an interference by the Trump administration with local elections that may have malevolent purposes.
CBS correspondent Scott McFarland joined us live in D.C. with a political reaction to that FBI raid. Scott telling us that Democrats are enraged and Republicans are kind of push some distance between them and that FBI raid. Now you know.
Why is silver and gold going up right now? One is a speculation, and two is worry about what's going to happen with the U.S. Central Bank, with the Federal Reserve. Mm-hmm. Are we going to do what's known as debase the dollar? Are we going to make money so easy that the dollar is going to lose value?
Yeah. Clark Howard joined us live in studio. The headline from Clark with the rising gold prices is gold is not an investment. Now you know.
And he's actually got a bill to do this. It's not a resolution. It's a real bill. It says lemon pepper has emerged as a flavor that is distinctively tied to Georgia, representing creativity, boldness, and Southern hospitality. So they didn't distinct between dry or wet.
Lemon pepper wings, say Scott Slade, will be the official Georgia flavor of wings. And Scott also mentioned there's going to be possible new Georgia state flour. So now you know because of the Mark Arum Show.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Arum Star of the Show?
Man, cavalcade of stars. Valencia from Promotions jumping in with Paul Simon tickets. Clark Howard live in studio. Scott Slade. We talked to Mika from Bloomberg, Channel 2's Richard Elliott, Karen Travers, and John Decker, 2 White House correspondents. Everyone here. Deborah, you did a great job on the AI videos. But it's a make good. Vinny did a great job filling in for you, Longoria, but he didn't get his Just Desserts yesterday because I gave it to Ovi. So are you cool with that?
I'm down with that, yeah.
You're back in the
Love
running.
when he does a great job.
You're back here. You can win Star of the Show tomorrow.
Okay.
We missed you, buddy.
All right.
But Vinny did a great job. Star of the Show, Vin. I think I'm still starless. No, I have at least one.
Yeah, you gave yourself 1 star.
All right. I am going to be your star coming up after the new news. I'm going to give you a keyword in the 5K Day Bonus Blitz. Chance to win $1,000 in just minutes. I'll be active on socials at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Stay safe. Have a great Tuesday, Atlanta.
On that midnight train to Georgia.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard, sponsored by Ragsdale Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
If you or someone you know has a disability, there's a special account that new laws have made much more generous. It's known as an ABLE account, and it works like a 529 college savings account. Someone who's disabled or their family can save in one of these accounts up to $100,000 tax-free and does not affect whatever eligibility you'd have for any state or federal government assistance.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Winter certainly has had a little giddy up in its step recently. If you haven't noticed, your furnace has, your old furnace I'm talking about. Mark Arum from my pals at Reliable. An amazing offer right now from Reliable. Any size furnace, any size, $59.99 a month. Comfort as a service. 0 down, low monthly payments, all feature repairs, maintenance, even filters. A guaranteed no additional charge for life. Book an appointment for a convenient time right now on their website at reliableair.com. Click on the Book Now button or call or text 770-594-9969.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good afternoon. It is 12 o'clock on this Tuesday, February 3rd. I'm Sabrina Cupid. Our top story here at noon.
They say they want a real negotiation with President Trump and Republicans over immigration enforcement policy, and we are happy to have that debate.
The House planning to vote on a funding package today that would reopen the federal government. The legislation backed by President Trump and has already passed through the Senate. Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff telling WSB Today.
This should be resolved in short order. It depends if Speaker Johnson can get his members organized. If he can, then this could end as soon as today or tomorrow.
And Speaker Johnson on where things stand now.
The White House and the Senate continued in good faith. They've agreed to separate the Homeland Security funding bill, and that's fine. So we have 2 weeks now to negotiate in good faith on both sides. The White House and Senate Democrats are going to engage in that.
The government partially shut down over the weekend after funding lapsed for a number of agencies. All right, let's take a look at your weather. Increasing clouds, but the temperatures in the right direction, warming up for us. Afternoon highs near 60. Rain showers late this evening, though. How's the rest of the week looking? WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards will have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast. That comes your way at 12:05. In Cherokee County, fire investigators there are working to determine the cause of a house fire on Lewis Road near Canton. Responding crews found the home engulfed in flames. Medical personnel did treat 3 people at the scene. None required hospitalization. Sadly, though, one of the 2 dogs inside that home did not survive. This just in, Georgia House lawmakers approve a bill to expand the places that people can surrender newborns without fear of prosecution. Representative Mike Cameron says that infants under 30 days can be surrendered at police stations, medical facilities, and ambulance service locations. The legislation also allows for newborn safety devices.
A newborn can be surrendered at a safe fire hall. When they open the front door of this device, they place the baby inside. It's almost like an incubator. They close the box. An alarm goes off silently inside the fire hall.
Now, the measure passed the House unanimously and now goes to the Senate. This is new at noon. Authorities say that DNA samples from the home of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother belong to her mom. That according to the Pima County Sheriff's Department, which did not confirm if the samples were blood or not. Yesterday, the Pima County Sheriff said he believes that 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home against her will. Her home has since been designated as a crime scene, and multiple reports say blood was found at that house. And in an Instagram post, Savannah Guthrie asking her followers for prayers and believes that her mom would be lifted up by them. In Athens, the University of Georgia unveils new AI investments, including a new pilot program for students.
In his State of the University address, UGA President Jerry Moorhead announces an $800,000 investment in a pilot program to provide thousands of student licenses for premium AI tools. Those include ChatGPT EDU and Gemini Pro.
To prepare students for the workforce of tomorrow, we are moving quickly to support responsible use of artificial intelligence.
Moorhead says faculty and staff already have access to these platforms. He says UGA looks forward to broadening the student pilot program in the months ahead. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
Well, if you're thinking about a new car, Consumer Reports lays out its top 10 vehicles for 2026, and Jeff Gilbert has a look at the list.
Honda Civic, Tesla's Model Y, and the Ford F-150 on the list, along with the Toyota Camry, Subaru Forester, and others. One common trait, each model has an electric or hybrid version.
If you hop into basically any of the hybrids that are on this list, I think you'd be hard-pressed to even realize you were driving a hybrid.
Alex Nizick of Consumer Reports saying many of the models on their list come in well below the average transaction price for a new car or truck.
Well, the recent freezing weather that they had in Florida seems to have taken a toll on the strawberry crops there. This farmer in Lakeland, Florida, says he's seeing a lot of bad blooms.
Yellow in the bloom, it's good. That one a pick. This one won't pick. It'll just shrivel up to nothing on the bush. Based on what I'm seeing right now, there's a lot of loss of fruit and small green berries.
Now, he says that the cold weather was just too much for some of the blooms. The hope is when warmer weather returns that the plants can grow back in time to save the season. And Kelly Clarkson announcing that the Kelly Clarkson Show will end after its 7th season because she wants to step away from the daily talk show grind to prioritize time with her children, especially after the recent death of her ex-husband, Brandon Blackstock, from cancer. In a statement on X, Clarkson announced the Kelly Clarkson Show will end after its 7th season, which premiered last September and runs through the fall. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is down 94 at 49,312. NASDAQ also down more than a full percent. The S&P's not far behind. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Smiling Mark McKay.
Thanks very much, Sabrina. 75 out of Stockbridge. A little slow heading toward Hudson Bridge, Eagles Landing Parkway. Add some extra time to your outbound commute on I-20 if you're heading to Conyers and Covington, especially relieving 285 into that work zone. Only a right lane open past construction on 20 eastbound, just past Panola Road exit 71. Delays starting to pick up into the I-285 work zone on the west side as well, leaving Six Flags and Fulton Industrial Boulevard and I-20 East. Smiling Mark McKay, 95.5 WSB.
Your 5-day forecast sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta.
A mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon, staying warm with highs in the upper 50s to low 60s. The rain showers will arrive later this evening, continuing through the overnight hours, and rain showers for the morning commute with lows in the upper 40s. Now, as the rain moves out tomorrow, we will stay cool with highs in the low 50s. Sunshine for Thursday, staying chilly, morning lows in the 20s, daytime highs in the low 40s, but warming up into the weekend with sunny skies all the way through Sunday, morning lows in the 30s, daytime highs in the mid to upper 50s.
50 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is King, K-I-N-G, King. Enter the keyword King into the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. Keyword is King. And most importantly, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from an 833 number, pick it up. Could be us telling you you won $1,000. The keyword is King, K-I-N-G, King. Good luck.
You know, occasionally we got to start the show and tell you what the big story of the day is, because the rest of the press corps, the media, everybody out there, the other conservative talk show hosts, they've all missed the big story of the day. And this is becoming increasingly my frustration. I like having the show. I'm very blessed to be able to sit behind this microphone and talk to you guys and shoot straight with you as best I can, call out both sides, do balls and strikes, tell you what I think, take your phone calls. And I'm really appalled at the entirety of the press corps, social media, the conservative talk radio and podcast atmosphere stuff for missing the big story today. The big story is not what you've been told. In fact, I got up this morning and I did Mark Halperin for an hour, and we had this conversation. I think he's right. He's the one who pointed out that the morning shows, this was not the lead, and it should have been the lead. But people have gotten bored because it's considered old news, but it's actually very big news. Instead, I mean, there is the tragedy with Savannah Guthrie. The news outlets are covering that as they should. It's a relevant current story, and public help is needed. But most of the American press corps is in outrage mode. And if the president does something that progressives can be outraged by, that's the focus. If the left does something to be outraged by, that's the Fox coverage. Or if they can rally around the president, that's the coverage. The big story today, and I know how many of you are going to be, you're going to roll your eyes when I tell you it's the big story of the day. And it actually is, and I'll defend myself here. The big story of the day is that after Vladimir Putin told Donald Trump that he would pause firing missiles at Ukraine, Mark Rutte, the head of NATO, went to Ukraine. He's one of Donald Trump's favorites, Mark Rutte is. Vladimir Putin unleashed hell on Ukraine, launching missiles, sending fighter jets, massive operation, including in Kyiv, while Mark Rutte was talking to the Ukrainian parliament. The leader of Russia is daring Donald Trump to do anything, and I don't think Donald Trump is in Putin's pocket, but for the life of me, I'm flummoxed by why Donald Trump keeps pulling his punches on Putin when Putin promised to do nothing and then tried to get the General Secretary of NATO killed in a bombing campaign that involved Kyiv. This is Rutte before the Ukrainian parliament.
So it is with the deepest respect that I stand before you today to affirm once again that NATO stands with Ukraine. This was true before Russia's full-scale invasion.
Now, I'm going to pause here because you're hearing someone talking in the background. That's the interpreter. The female voice you're hearing is the interpreter interpreting his English into Ukrainian.
This was true on the 24th of February 2022, and it has been true every single day since. Putin has long thought he could wait us out, that Ukraine was weak, that your supporters would grow weary, that our will would falter. He was gravely mistaken. Ukraine is strong and our support is unwavering. I do recognize that a focus on other global events might have caused concern. Concern that our attention might be divided at a moment that you needed our support more acutely than ever. As the temperatures plummeted, attacks on your energy infrastructure intensified, and the talks to bring this terrible war to a lasting end continued. But I want to assure you that our attention has not been diverted. Ukraine is and will remain essential to our security. And our commitment to supporting Ukraine is steadfast.
That's the General Secretary of NATO and the President of the United States. And I want to be real clear here with you. This is part of the problem with how people understand Ukraine. And I'm going to get back to Ukraine because my point here is not really focused on Ukraine right now, but how the American media is more interested in, while lecturing us on the value of news, they're actually more interested in generating outrage to try to attract your attention. But the situation here in Ukraine is one that the American media never really wanted to grapple with because they would have to criticize Joe Biden. Joe Biden made a lot of promises to Ukraine and then never delivered on those promises. And Donald Trump has actually kept every promise he's made to Ukraine, but he continues to just roll over and let Putin rub his belly. I don't understand what's going on there. I don't. And I don't think he's in Putin's pocket. I don't know what the play is. I think there's division within the White House in the Vance wing and the Rubio wing on how to proceed, and that fight has not been settled to the president's satisfaction. The president of the United States, this president, did something Joe Biden didn't do. Much of what Joe Biden did to Ukraine was structured in loans that ultimately the EU would pay back if Ukraine didn't. But there were a lot of gifts given as well, including to fund the civil service salaries of Ukrainian officials and the like. What Donald Trump has done is he stopped that. And instead, the NATO allies can buy American weapons and give them to Ukraine. So we're making money. We're not lending money. We get the money in advance. Our allies are giving us the money, and the president is also putting pressure on the Europeans to get rid of their dependence on Russia. And you should understand that part of the big problem in Europe is that Gerhard Schroeder, the former chancellor of Germany, was a Russian lackey who wound up working for a Russian energy company after forcing Germany to give up its nuclear power, rapidly getting rid of the nuclear power so they couldn't bring it back online, and then making Germany dependent on the Russian natural gas. It was all part of Gerhard Schroeder's plan to placate the Russians. But what's the big story this morning on CNN and MSNBC? It's the president's statements to Dan Bongino with the return of his podcast yesterday. Bongino, by the way, I've gotten these emails. Bongino is not coming back to radio. He's just doing a podcast. And the president was his first guest for his first day back on his podcast. And the president said he's thinking of a federal election takeover after sending FBI agents to Georgia to get ballots from Fulton County, Georgia. Now, you should know I am dismissive of the Fulton County stuff. There were clearly mistakes made. There always are, and Fulton County is notoriously inept. But many of the stories that have come out thus far claiming to discredit like 300,000 ballots are being greatly distorted by Trump supporters. So, for example, one of the stories is that they found 300,000 fraudulently cast ballots in Fulton County. The number they cited was actually the total number of in-person early voting ballots in Georgia, in Fulton County. And their claim is that because a clerk did not sign off on a ticket after writing down the number of votes, that all of those votes that no one doubts are lawful votes must not be included. So think about this. The position is that 300,000 people must have their lawfully cast ballots thrown out because a single Democratic operative in Fulton County didn't sign a piece of paperwork that's not actually required by law. It's required by a regulation by the Secretary of State. That's the position, is that those 300,000 ballots are unlawfully cast because one Democratic appointee didn't sign a piece of paper. That's a hell of a precedent to set, that a single partisan appointee could throw out an entire election by failing to sign a piece of paper. So now they've pivoted to sending Tulsi Gabbard down to seize a bunch of ballots in Fulton County. They're looking for something. It's like Jack Smith filing so many lawsuits and digging as deep as he can, eventually to find something. That's what they hope to do in this case, is if you can spend enough time to indict a ham sandwich, they hope to spend enough time to cast doubt on an election that they now can't throw out. You're not suddenly going to un-get Joe Biden elected. This is score settling with the Democrats. It's scratching itches. It's tickling ears. It's the Trump team insisting that they were right all along. We'll see where it goes. The fact that Tulsi Gabbard went to Atlanta, though, and did this is a great distraction from, you're not now talking about ICE in Minnesota. The media is not. The president has the superpower of leading the media towards stories and essentially generating outrage so they're not covering other stuff. Another major story this morning on CNN and on MSNBC, in the New York Times, in the Washington Post, is the president of the United States announcing after July 4th, the Kennedy Center is going to be closed for 2 years for renovations. Many of them insist that the reason he's closing the Kennedy Center is because everybody's canceling performances, which isn't true. Some are. But that's the spin this morning, and it is fundamentally dishonest to the viewers and readers of the American media, because the fact of the matter is the Kennedy Center needs serious work done on it. The Kennedy Center is right by the Potomac River. It's in a flooded area. Remember, D.C. is mostly reclaimed swamp. The basements of the Kennedy Center have mold. They've got algae growing. They have damp problems. They're not secured from moisture. They need new moisture barriers. The whole place needs to be renovated. But the media would rather you believe that Trump is doing this because he can't get performances at the Kennedy Center, which simply isn't true. Some have canceled. But they would rather focus on this than this massive story in Ukraine. And there, by the way, there are perfect ties to make that about Donald Trump, but they've moved on from what is the most important story to what story is going to generate the most rage, what is going to generate the most outrage, what is going to generate the most eyeballs. The Western leadership refusing to be able to stand up to Vladimir Putin should be the biggest story of the day, because it's not just us, it's also the European powers as well. The president of Moscow, of Soviet Union, Russia, sorry, brain fart here, the president of Russia agrees to not bomb Ukraine, and then breaks his promise in less than 24 hours, unleashes hell while the Secretary General of NATO is inside Kyiv talking to the parliament, bombs Kyiv in the process of the Secretary General of NATO talking. That should be the biggest story of the day. But why talk about substantive news when you can generate outrage, when you can get the left worked up about the Kennedy Center or about the president taking over elections? Why do it when you can get the conservatives worked up about Gavin Newsom at Vogue magazine, which is what Fox News has been talking about all day? Why cover the actual substantive news when you can get clicks and generate outrage? About the only news network anymore that actually covers stuff that matters to people is CNBC, and it's business news. It's a deep frustration of mine. You know how many news outlets I have to subscribe to these days to do show prep for the show? Left, right, and center. The massive number of outlets that I've got to get subscriptions to read this stuff, get up in the morning before I go to bed, all the bedtime reading. Now, I'm not complaining about doing the show, don't get me wrong. It's just... It's astonishing to get up in the morning and see what the headline stories are. Do you know what the big story at the Wall Street Journal is today? The above-the-fold center story at the Wall Street Journal. It's not the bombing of Ukraine. It has now suddenly been changed to the Coast Guard Special Forces behind the president's key missions. But what was it when people woke up this morning? What was the big story at the Wall Street Journal this morning? Philip sent it to me and said it's a testament to just how slow the news is that the big story at the Wall Street Journal this morning was composting dead people because cemeteries are being overrun. That was the big story. Why? Because at this point, the American media depends on clicks. Clicks depend on getting you agitated about something. And your agitation is profit to the media. It's why so many of you feel so much anxiety in the headlines right now. Because the headlines are designed to generate anxiety. A buddy of mine sent me a text this morning. He won't mind me. I'll keep his name out of it, but he won't mind me saying this. He texted me late this morning, and he said, I just have to say this. You're the only one who will understand it because you and I have been in it because of our passion and chosen profession. I've come to realize politics is like a long-time TV drama with all the twists and turns, a never-ending show with season after season of narrative structures, multi-character focus, and core themes from month to month, year to year. Oh, yes, the characters change, and so do the storylines. All of us spectators just choose favorites and wait for a denouement to clear it up. But like my favorite nighttime show, Blacklist, there's no satisfaction, and it just gets boring after years of hoping, praying, and laughing or weeping. That's what the media's done. The narrative structure is more important than the news of the day. It's Days of Our Lives meets the WWE in a weird mashup. The big story of the day today, and it is the biggest story of the day today, is that the president of Russia has yet again broken his word to the president of the United States. And yet again, the president of the United States is choosing to do nothing, but this time is different because one of the president of the United States' favorite people on the planet, the Secretary General of NATO, who the president adores, is in Kyiv as the bombing hell from Russia is unleashed. Don't think that can't change the dynamic. It probably will.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 in the TrustDale.com 24-hour traffic center. New trouble in Marietta. Crash 75 southbound Windy Hill Road exit 260. Multiple left lanes are blocked. Make sure you stay to the right. That's already slowing the ride back before Delk Road into Cobb County. You're on the brakes. 20 eastbound, just east of Wesley Chapel Road. It's all due to that daily left lane construction that is set up between Panola Road and Lithonia Industrial. Traffic brought to you by Orderly Meds, affordable GLP-1s. Ready to feel healthy this year? Orderly Meds delivers proven GLP-1 treatments at a lower cost, shipped discreetly to your door. Go to loseweightnow.co. Eligibility required. That's visit loseweightnow.co. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Okay, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is King, K-I-N-G, King. Enter the keyword King into the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword, win $1,000. Keyword is King. And most importantly, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from an 833 number, pick it up. Could be us telling you you won $1,000. The keyword is King, K-I-N-G, King. Good luck.
The winds of change are blowing. Hi, it's meteorologist Glenn Burns. I'm not forecasting the weather. I'm just reporting North Georgia Replacement Windows has changed their name to NG Windows. They installed my beautiful Infinity by Marvin fiberglass windows, and now I enjoy more daylight and bigger views. Window and door shopping made simple at ngwindows.com.
Infinity by Marvin from NG Windows, yeah!
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 55 and with one of the big three carriers, like Verizon, you may notice they don't talk much about their 55-plus discounts. That's so customers like you keep paying their regular higher rates to boost their bottom line. You deserve better service, with 100% US-based experts, better value, with plans starting at $20, and a company that's built for people 50-plus, like me. Not convinced? Give your current carrier a call. Ask about the 55-plus plan you've earned. See how long it takes to get a real person on the line, and if they try to talk you out of it. But if you want something better, call Consumer Cellular. We've got the same great coverage, and our US-based experts can get you switched in about 20 minutes. Switch now to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com for your second month free.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
When your air conditioner or furnace breaks down, the last thing you need is more surprises. That's why at Jape Services, you'll always get a free estimate with honest, upfront pricing. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and we've helped thousands of your friends and neighbors with their heating and cooling needs, and our reputation depends on offering the best solution. Whether you need maintenance, repairs, or a new system, call the company you can trust, Jape Services.
Count on us, Jape Services.
What if you could buy a flippable, two-sided mattress made with the finest materials that cost less than other luxury brands? This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory, and this is exactly what you'll find with our new Orthos line, available exclusively at OMF. We build these by hand using premium materials like wool and cotton. It's old-world craftsmanship with modern comfort, our most extraordinary sleep system. Built locally at a price other luxury brands just can't match. Visit the Original Mattress Factory and experience the Orthos line for yourself.
Just like your car, your septic system needs regular maintenance. Hi, I'm Shannon, the owner of Scorpion Septic. If you're seeing bubbles in your toilet, pooling in your yard, slow draining, or your toilet won't flush, you need Scorpion Septic.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic, where there is never a pump out charge with your repair. Call for more information. ScorpionSepticServices.com.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Greetings, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here, just keeping you up to date on this. Actually is a newsy news story that is also one of those sensational stories. Savannah Guthrie's mother appears to be kidnapped. Authorities say blood was found. They don't know. They're trying to find it. They believe it was probably someone who actually knew, had a relationship with the family. All of it, though, is speculation. We don't know. But it is Savannah Guthrie's mother, who has, her name is Nancy Guthrie, not the Christian author, different Nancy Guthrie, lives in Utah, is missing. They're trying to find her. The police are working it as an active crime scene. They don't really know. Also, at 3 o'clock Eastern, as soon as this show is off, Tyler Robinson is going to be in court in Provo, Utah, for a hearing related to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He's not a Jew. He's not paid by Israel. He's a progressive activist who was pro-transgender. The left, there's a woman on CNN the other day who had to get corrected live on air by one of the lawyers saying no, that he was not a conservative. That actually this progressive activist claimed that Tyler Robinson was a conservative who killed Charlie Kirk. It just, man, people just want to believe all sorts of crazy things these days. Here's what I can tell you that you can believe is, I'll try to sort through it all for you, make it make sense if nothing else. I also want to tell you about Swiss America. They've been warning people about a secret war on cash. You can call them at 800-289-2646 and get a copy of their report completely free. Their report, The Secret War on Cash, details how the government is trying to steer you away from cash. In fact, I see there's a big lawsuit now against the national parks that have banned cash in the parks because it's operated by the federal government. The government does not like you using cash or gold or silver or crypto. Get this report from Swiss America. It can help you with your retirement and finances. Call or text my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Also, check them out on YouTube. Swiss America Trading is their website, Swiss America Trading. Great, highly informative site with a lot of information about world currencies. Or just call or text my name, Eric, 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cubit. This just in. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help in finding a hit-and-run driver. A 15-year-old girl was hit by a vehicle in the parking lot of Abundant Life Church on Strickland Road. Now, this was on January 14th. The teen is still in the hospital today, recovering. Investigators say they've hit a dead end when it comes to finding the vehicle and the driver, so they're asking for the public's help. Stacey Miller with Forsyth County Sheriff's Office says they're looking for a black SUV.
It left the church parking lot and traveled towards Atlanta Highway on Strickland Road.
Anybody with information being asked to call police. Your weather for today. Cloud cover, but the temperatures are warming up to a high around 57. Rain showers moving in late this evening. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. The House is set to vote today on a massive funding package that would bring an end to the partial government shutdown that began over the weekend. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the legislation cleared the Rules Committee last night.
The White House and the Senate continued in good faith. They've agreed to separate the Homeland Security funding bill, and that's fine. So we have 2 weeks now to negotiate in good faith on both sides.
And we will be watching. The Pentagon standing down. More than 1,500 federal troops placed on alert for possible deployment to Minneapolis. The alert included active duty soldiers from the 11th Airborne Division based in Alaska, along with other units nationwide. Meanwhile, federal officials announcing new body camera requirements for officers in the city. New data this afternoon shows the latest COVID vaccines continue to protect against severe illness, even with newer variants circulating. A large study of U.S. veterans found strong protection against hospitalization and death months after vaccination. Snack prices are going down soon.
How often does this happen? After years of upping costs, PepsiCo says it's cutting the price of some of its products, like Lay's potato chips and Flamin' Hot Cheetos, by as much as 15%. The CEO says the company is responding to a flood of emails and messages from shoppers complaining they can't afford to buy snacks anymore.
Deborah Rodriguez reports one report shows snack prices jumped almost 40% between 2020 and 2024. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow is down more than 0.5%, Nasdaq's down more than 1.5%, and the S&P's down almost a full percent. It's 12:32.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
This is Andy Harris, president of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to come see us for your auto loan needs. If you're buying a car or refinancing your current auto loan, at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you'll get one of the lowest interest rates in the market. Now, auto loan rates are as low as 2.99 APR when you open an account with a direct deposit. Coosa Valley Credit Union is local and nearby in Northwest Georgia. Plus, you'll always speak to a real person when dealing with us. That's what we call kinder banking.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Howdy do, partner. It's me, the little cowboy in your car radio. Are you looking for a way to bring some adventure to your boring old plate of food? Reach for Texas Pete. For almost 100 years, it's been the trusted hot sauce to liven up eggs, chicken, barbecue, even spaghetti. That's almost as long as I've been with Pepper, my trusty steed. So pick up Texas Pete hot sauce and let flavor run wild. Okay, I'm done. Get me out of this car radio.
It's Katie Kiley from my good friends at D. Geller & Son Jewelers. And this Valentine's Day, when you spend just $199 or more, they're including a free diamond necklace, plus a box of chocolates with your purchase. D. Geller's been Atlanta's Valentine's Day destination since 1939, and they're your one-stop shop for the perfect jewelry gift this year. There are 2 showrooms near you, Kennesaw and Sandy Springs, and shop their Valentine's Day gift guide online at dgeller.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Travel advisory in Marietta. Got a crash 75 southbound Windy Hill Road, exit 263. Left lanes are blocked. You're stacked up back to South Marietta Parkway. Use Highway 41. And a stall reported, Traffic Chief Ron says, on part of the 400 South ramp to 285 west in Sandy Springs. From the TrustDale.com 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies, warming up to the upper 50s to low 60s through this afternoon. Scattered rain showers arrive later this evening. Lows tonight in the low 40s.
More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, and if you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, the 4 things to know in the afternoon. By the way, my team's been browbeating me about that. So in the afternoon, when the show is done at 3 o'clock, I do a very short 5 minutes summarizing the 4 big things you need to know before you get home. So if you haven't had time to get the show, almost inevitably, it's 4 things that happen at the end of the show. And it really will help you by the time you get home, those 4 things, those breaking news things that happen towards the end of the show. You will be able to figure them out. And it's a separate podcast feed, 4 things to know. You can search for it on your favorite podcast app, or if you text Eric to 33777, you can get the link so that you get the full 3-hour show, but also this 5 minutes of just here are the latest headlines after the show is done. So on your way home, you can listen to that. It takes you 5 minutes, and you figure out all the major headlines. Now, have you seen this? This is kind of funny to me. Kathy Griffin, the comedian, is very upset. Let me read you this tweet. Actually, I'm sorry, it's on Threads. She doesn't use Twitter. Okay, coming clean, she says. I just saw when politics is your world, these are the sorts of things that happen. Kathy Griffin, the comedian. Okay, coming clean. I had a driver tonight, didn't know anything about ICE or ICE abductions or the murders. She said she lives under a rock and doesn't watch the news because it's too depressing. Am I being a B word because I think that's as bad as being complicit? So Kathy Griffiths has a driver, an Uber driver. The Uber driver doesn't know anything about ICE or ICE deportations. And apparently, as Kathy Griffin is tweeting all of this stuff, turns out that the driver supports ICE generally. Didn't know ICE was abducting people. Knows what ICE is. Supports ICE. Doesn't know ICE is bad. Doesn't know ICE is deporting people. Now, here's the punchline for all of you. The Uber driver is Argentinian. The Uber driver is from Argentina. A female Uber driver from Argentina who Kathy Griffin thinks is complicit in the bad things happening because this immigrant to the United States doesn't keep up with the headlines. Now, this gets to something I say, and I had a woman who subscribes to my Substack get very upset with me because I continue to talk about Trump supporters and Democrats and normal people. And she's very upset. How can you say I'm not a normal person? And I actually don't mean it as a pejorative, and some people take it that way. This Uber driver, this Argentinian Uber driver, is a normal person. You guys aren't normal. If you're listening to me right now, you're not normal, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, credit to you for listening to me and staying informed, but most Americans, you could call them low information voters, but they're just kind of normal people. They're living their life. Normal people, they're living their life. They're listening to some music. They got their favorite station. Music for them stopped at about the time they were 25, and since then, that's the only music they listen to. I mean, it's like my wife. For my wife, music died after Prince. And basically all good music stopped after 1990. My wife listens to 80s channels. She does not listen to 60s channels. She'll listen to a little bit of 70s, but it is the 80s. From January 1st, 1980 to December 31st, 1989, that is music for my wife. It is what she grew up with. Now, oddly enough for me, I didn't come back to the United States until 1990, and music really didn't begin for me until the early 90s. Nirvana and Pearl Jam and then Foo Fighters, and I like modern rock, alternative. I listen to very modern, bleeding edge stuff. My wife thinks it's appalling. She's like, how can you listen to this? And then I listen to very eclectic music. I mean, I love Drew Holcomb, and I love Pearl Jam, and I love Monsters and Men, all these great stuff. My wife, nope, it is AC/DC. It is ZZ Top. It is Prince. It's the old Michael Jackson stuff, although she's never been a huge Michael Jackson fan. It is Belinda Carlisle. It is the 80s for my wife. And normal people are like that. They hit a certain age, and all music after that age becomes crap. It doesn't matter. And normal people are not listening to guys like me on the radio. That's why I love you guys. That's why I'm not insulting you by saying you're not normal. You're special people who listen to get smarter. Normal people are low information voters. They don't watch the news except the local news. They're not really reading newspapers. They're paying attention to sports. And you know what? Actually, demographically, my radio show, compared to a lot of other conservative radio shows, has a lot of people who tune in for the headlines, what's going on in the world, and then jump back out to ESPN or to Fox Sports or to somewhere else. They're far more concerned about sports. And normal people aren't. They don't care about ICE. They don't care about the supposed ICE deportations or ICE abductions. They just don't care about that stuff. And Kathy Griffin is upset that this is complicity. By being a non-involved person, that's being complicit. But what is a non-involved person? A non-involved person is someone who's actually very involved in the life of their family, the life of their kids, and the life of their work. Kathy Griffin, to my knowledge, is not married and childless, and so she can be all wrapped up into politics. Just what a wild divergence. And into the politics comes a problem for the Trump administration. There are 3 classes of single-issue voters in the United States that predominate. There are other single-issue voters. You may have an issue on which you vote, and it is your only issue. But there are typically just 3, and they represent 4% of the voting population. No, I'm sorry, 3% of the voting population. And they are environmental voters, abortion voters, and gun voters. And those single-issue voters are the least normal among us. And again, I say it lovingly, not insultingly. A Second Amendment voter knows the Second Amendment better than anyone else. An abortion voter, that is, predominates in their views, pro-life in particular. Environmental voters, they lean Democrat. If you're voting on the environment, 9 out of 10 times you're voting Democrat. If you're an abortion voter, you would think it's an even division, but it's really not. Pro-abortion voters tend to be standard Democratic voters. People who are really fired up about the issue are the pro-lifers. They won't even vote for a Republican if the Republican isn't sufficiently pro-life. A pro-abortion Democrat will vote for a Democrat, although there are very few pro-life Democrats out there now, but they'll vote for a Democrat who cares about the abortion issue. The pro-life voters care about the issue. They turn up in every election, and they vote Republican, but you got to get them there. Second Amendment voters are the most hardcore of the single-issue voters. And again, we're talking 3 to 4% of the population overall. But it's a very big deal for Second Amendment voters. And there are actually not very many anti-gun voters in the country. Again, like pro-abortion voters, anti-gun voters tend to be run-of-the-mill Democrats. But the 2A voters, the Second Amendment voters, they are diehard, they support gun rights activists, and they will not show up if you are not good on guns. And for the life of me, the president's team is like Kathy Griffin right now. They are so involved in the politics of what's happening with the president's agenda right now, and they think that that's the thing that matters, and they're alienating the single-issue voters who can give them an edge in November. Here's the problem. You get to November. The party that does not control the White House typically has a midterm advantage. So what the party that controls the White House has to do is maximize the turnout of its voters. And in 2022, people think, oh, it was a disaster for the Republicans. I was looking at the results coming in, and it actually looked really good for the GOP, and it wound up not being great. But they still won. People missed. They still won. They still actually did better than the Democrats in 2022. But the reason they didn't do as well as they could is because Joe Biden, the incumbent of the White House, maximized the turnout for single-issue Democratic voters. And one of the single-issue Democratic voters that they have, that's a new single-issue voter, is Trump. Pro-Trump voters are single-issue voters who turn up to support Donald Trump. They're not coming this November because Trump's not on the ballot. Even though Trump wants to hypothetically be on the ballot, he's not legally on the ballot, so these voters aren't going to show up. But the anti-Trump voters, they are single-issue voters. They want to stop Trump and anyone who helps Trump. They will show up in November. It's what Joe Biden and the Democrats understood in 2022, that there was a set of voters who were single issue on the matter of Donald Trump, and they would do anything they can to stop Trump and anyone who might advance Trump. And they showed up in droves in 2022 and helped the Democrats mitigate their losses. The Republicans need to do the same this November. And one of the most reliable groups of single issue voters Republicans could call on are Second Amendment voters. And the problem for the GOP right now is after Alex Preddy's death, you had Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and other members of the administration and the president himself come out and denounce gun ownership. The president talking about you shouldn't bring a gun. You shouldn't bring a gun to a protest. Hey, you have a legal right to. And the Second Amendment people will be the first out there to tell you they've got a right to carry a gun wherever they want. And now, yesterday on Fox News, Judge Jeanine, now the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia.
And you bring a gun into the district, you mark my words, you're going to jail. I don't care if you have a license in another district, and I don't care if you're a law-abiding gun owner somewhere else. You bring a gun into this district, count on going to jail, and hope you get the gun back. And that makes all the difference.
Yeah, it's amazing how accountability works, you know, when people think that if they actually get arrested, they might have to do time and they might be taken off the street. It sort of puts a little different message into people's heads.
Greg Steube and Andrew Clyde, two members of Congress, have both tweeted this morning, essentially, come and get it, Judge Jeanine. Greg Steube, the congressman, he tweeted out that I carry a gun into the District of Columbia every single day. I have a permit. You come get it. Judge Jeanine, you heard her say, I don't care if you have a permit in another state. You can't bring it into the district. I will arrest you. You have Republican members of Congress saying, come and try. Y'all, I don't care what you think about the public policy. This is the most boneheaded political thing I have seen for some time. Why are the Trump people alienating Second Amendment voters? You need them to turn out in November because people who vote for Donald Trump aren't going to be there because he's not on the ballot. They're also alienating pro-life voters. You know, there was a movement to try to get J.D. Vance uninvited to the March for Life. Didn't work. They walked it back, but pro-life voters are deeply upset with this administration this go-round. There's a growing chorus of pro-lifers saying that this Trump term, the first Trump term, was the most pro-life, and this Trump term is the most anti-life Republican administration they've seen. The advancement of the abortion pill, the refusal to do anything. I've been told that it's Susie Wiles and Stephen Miller who think that the politics of the abortion pill hurt the GOP. Actually, at this point, not doing anything about it is killing the GOP. I've been told, these are names you may not know, Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller, obviously, and then James Blair, who's the congressional liaison, the legislative guy for the president. And I've been told he understands that the gun issue is bad for the Trump team and the abortion issue is bad for the Trump team, and everybody else in the White House doesn't seem to care, and that guy actually gets the politics of it. I don't know him, never met him, know a lot of members of Congress who don't like him, but he seems to be on point. If it's true what I'm being told, you cannot alienate pro-life and gun rights activists headed into the midterms, or they will not show up. They are single-issue voters. Roughly 25% of the population is Democrat and 25% of the population is Republican. A lot of people don't actually vote in the election. You've got to get 4% of the population with you. 3% are single-issue voters. Some will be for you, some not. Depends on where you stand. You got to persuade 4% of the total population of voters out there one day I'll take you through the numbers, but basically you got to convince 4% of the people who vote to vote for you in order to win an election. If you alienate pro-lifers and you alienate gun activists, suddenly you're going to have to convince 7% of the population. And your odds go down. This is bad politics for the Trump team. Please, Mr. President, listen to your son. Donald Trump Jr. is one of the biggest Second Amendment advocates in the country. Donald Trump Jr. knows the issue. He knows the voters. He and Eric Trump own guns. In fact, some friends of mine for a company made them guns. They get the Second Amendment. Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr., if you're listening to me, Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr., if you're listening, please do an intervention with your father and his administration on the Second Amendment. You understand Second Amendment voters better than anyone in the administration. You understand if they keep hearing people like Judge Janine and Kash Patel say you can't take guns to protest, you can't bring guns into D.C. even if you have a lawful permit, that those people aren't going to show up for your dad's team in November, and he's going to wind up getting a Democratic majority House and maybe a Democratic Senate to impeach him and scuttle the rest of his agenda. Please, for the love of God, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, do an intervention with the Trump administration on the Second Amendment. They cannot afford to be raising alarms with the Second Amendment team. And right now, Gun Owners of America, the NRA, the National Gun Lobby, all of these groups are blasting the Trump administration. Now you got members of Congress attacking him as well on this issue. That's not good. Headed into the midterms, please intervene and fix this.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1252 in the Trustdale.com 24-hour traffic center. Heads up in Marietta. Travel advisory continues. Crash 75 southbound Windy Hill Road, exit 263. Left lanes are blocked. Stacked up back toward North Marietta Parkway. Use Highway 41 as an alternate. Traffic brought to you by Pizza Hut. Here's the game day tip. Order Pizza Hut before the first hut. And right now, the Big New Yorker is just $10. The biggest pizza for the biggest games, only at Pizza Hut. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
I don't believe it.
5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
Oh, that is awesome. Are you serious?
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m. from 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Chris, you've talked for years about the importance of having a financial plan in place because it gives us that roadmap for the journey of retirement. That helps us navigate the ups and the downs, when life doesn't go to script. But hey, when can we ever count on life to go according to script?
Yeah, it never does, but we can script it out for you financially. And this is a pretty robust offer that we would present to you today. The first step is you call us or you go to unleashyourmoney.com and click that portfolio x-ray button or the 401k x-ray. That'll allow us to do about a 10 to 14 page report. We give it to you. It assesses exactly what's included in your financial life, all of your investments. From there, if you want us to take step 2 for you, again, completely complimentary, free of charge, we will build you an income plan to replace your paycheck in retirement. That income plan also includes tax strategies, which are extremely important for people in today's environment. Then, if you want us to take the final step, we can fold all of that into a full financial plan and map it out for the rest of your life or until age 100. All 3 of those offers, completely free of charge, completely complimentary. I would start with that portfolio x-ray. It'll take us a few hours to generate the report. We do all that behind the scenes. We give it to you in a half an hour, 45-minute meeting. Very valuable information for you to have on your ready and take home with you.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group today, 770-580-2024. That's 770-580-2024 or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. to restore your love life in just one visit. Call now, 404-885-8885.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Text Eric to 33777 and get the 4 Things You Need to Know podcast. Eric tells you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Also available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app.
This hour of the program brought to you by Van Allen Golf, A-L-L-E, and vanallengolf.com. You can text golf to 33777. I've got one of their incredible blade putters, and they have definitely, I thought it was hype. It's not, y'all. Definitely, my 5 putts have gone down to 3, put it to you that way. vanallengolf.com. I mentioned this earlier. My friend Kenny sent me a message this morning, and he said, you know, I've come to realize politics is like a long-time TV drama with all the twists and turns, a never-ending show with season after season of narrative structures, multi-character focus, core themes. From month to month, year to year, the characters change and the storylines change, and all of us spectators just choose favorites and wait for a denouement to clear it, and there's no satisfaction. There are plot twists, though. There are lots of plot twists. I got a plot twist for y'all, and Kenny, Jill Biden's ex-husband has been charged with murder of his current wife. Didn't see that one coming, did we? Not since Who Shot JR have we been left in suspense. The plot keeps changing. Jill Biden's ex-husband, William Stevenson, 77, facing first-degree murder charges more than a month after police responded to a domestic dispute at his home. He's believed to have murdered his wife. There's your plot twist of the day in politics. Now, let me tell you about Rinnai and the Rinnai tankless water heater. It is brilliant, and you never run out of hot water with it. You never run, unless your propane tank runs out like I did the other night, and then they came rapidly filled, and we got our hot water right back. It's phenomenal. And if you have natural gas, you never have to worry about that. We don't have natural gas in our house. We use propane. And my kids don't fight over the shower anymore. I don't have to fight with them over the shower. You flip on the faucet, and the hot water comes pouring out, and it's hot water, too. And we got rid of our electric water heater tanks. Our power bill went down. These things are super efficient. There's a factory right up the road from me here in the USA. You can go see these things. They're fantastic. They're reasonably priced. My gosh, go to TalkingTankless.com. TalkingTankless.com and get one of these.
When the weather is at its worst,
Right now, we have some heavier snow showers right along I-75.
we're at our best.
Winter Storm Watch now includes more of Metro Atlanta.
The Weather Watch never stops.
4 inches of snow in Monroe, 2 inches in Lawrenceville.
95.5 WSB.
Your severe weather station.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This just in. We have just learned a celebration of life will be held this Saturday for Gwinnett County Police Officer Pradeep Tamang, who was shot and killed in the line of duty. The service will be at 10 o'clock at 12 Stone Church on Buford Drive in Lawrenceville. At the conclusion of the service, there will be a procession to Tim Stewart Funeral Home on Symington Road. Members of the community are encouraged to line the procession route. Again, funeral services have now been set for this weekend. All right, your weather for today, increasing cloud cover, but temperatures are rising. Afternoon highs near 60. Rain showers late this evening, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Investigators in Forsyth County hit a dead end and a hit-and-run case from last month that left a teenager in the hospital. They are now turning to the public for help. Stacey Miller with the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office says this happened at the Abundant Life Church on Strickland Road back on January 15th.
A 15-year-old was leaving her church service it was a Wednesday evening youth service, and she was struck by a vehicle in the parking lot.
And they're looking for a black SUV that was last seen traveling towards Atlanta Highway on Strickland Road. Anybody with information being asked to call police. That 15-year-old girl is still in the hospital this afternoon. This is new at 1 o'clock. The U.S. has shot down an Iranian drone that approached the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea. This comes as U.S. and Iranian officials are expected to meet on Friday. President Trump has repeatedly threatened to take military action against Iran recently. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth saying the U.S. is prepared to take action if Iran will not negotiate over its nuclear program. If you booked a United Airlines flight for tomorrow, heads up.
United is planning a major technology upgrade to its online reservation system between 2:30 and 6 a.m. Eastern Wednesday. The airline is warning passengers and even its employees that many of its web and app services will not be available during that time. Customers won't be able to check in for flights, retrieve their itineraries, cancel bookings, or make new reservations.
And Michael Wallace reports that the carrier says that they have been rehearsing the technology upgrade and it should go smoothly. A major new global study says millions of cancer cases each year could be prevented by reducing exposure to everyday risk. Reporter Brad Gibson has details.
Researchers say nearly 40% of cancers worldwide may be tied to factors we can change, like smoking and alcohol use. Smoking was the biggest driver for men, while the stomach bacteria pylori was high on the list for women.
And according to the authors, in total, about 7.1 million of the 18.7 million new cancer cases, or 38% in 2022, were potentially attributed to modifiable risk behaviors. Let's take a look at the markets right now. The Dow currently down 368 at 49,039. NASDAQ also down more than 1.5%, and the S&P's down more than a full percent. It's 102.
Have you noticed how most home improvement companies offer a discount? Get $500 off your roof or siding. Buy 4 windows, get the 5th one free. Or buy today, this deal expires tomorrow. You know, those discounts. Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you? Those aren't really discounts. It's just their normal price, but set in a way that makes you think you're getting a deal. Plus, a whole lot of pressure to buy right then and right there. At Exovations, we give you a fair price for your siding, windows, and roofing projects. No high-pressure sales tactics, no phony discounts. Plus, our prices are firm for the project we quote. None of that, oh, our material and labor went up during the project kind of scenarios. Discover what stress-free remodeling looks like and schedule your free quote today at exovations.com. That's EXOVATIONS.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
This is Andy Harris, president at Coosa Valley Credit Union, where we believe in the power of human connection. When you call us, you're not greeted by a machine, but by a real person who's here to listen and assist you. Coosa Valley Credit Union. We're local, we're kind, and we're here for you.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Sabrina, still watching this travel advisory in Marietta. What a mess. A crash in 3 left lanes, 75 southbound at Windy Hill Road, exit 260. It is a rough ride, almost back to Highway 5, the Canton Road connector. You can use Highway 41, Cobb Parkway as an alternate, although that's going to fill up fast as well. And still have left lane construction into DeKalb County, 20 eastbound just past Panola Road, exit 71. From the TrustDale.com 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies this afternoon, warming up to the upper 50s to low 60s. Scattered rain showers arrive late this evening, continuing through early tomorrow morning with lows in the low 40s. The rain moving out tomorrow afternoon, but staying cloudy and cool with highs in the low 50s.
54 degrees here in Atlanta, 51 in Duluth. Marietta has 53 degrees. More news at 1:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425 if you want to be on the program. I would be happy to have you. If you're just tuning in, Jill Biden's ex-husband has been charged with murdering his wife. There was a domestic dispute about a month ago at their house in Delaware. His wife subsequently murdered, and Jill Biden's ex-husband has been charged with the murder. Didn't see that one coming in the wide world of twists and turns in American media. Goodness gracious. Now, we gotta turn our attention. The United States has shot down an Iranian drone that approached a U.S. aircraft carrier. And also, Iranian gunboats surrounded an American oil tanker in the Straits of Hormuz today. It ignored their order to stop to be boarded. It picked up speed, and the American Navy had to come to its rescue as tensions increased. The Iranian government said that it would sit with the Americans and would begin negotiations related to the wind down of Iran's nuclear capacity. They have now walked back that and are now saying they actually will refuse to meet with the government of the United States unless their demands are met. This is a rapid escalation in the Middle East. And I want to explain this to all of you. Let me give you a little bit of a geography lesson. Charlie and Philip. So I grew up in Dubai. So, you know, I did grow up over there. The Iranians tried to blow up my school when I was a kid and kill me and everybody in the school. Not a fan of the Iranians. Had a number of friends of mine who were refugees from the Iranian regime. So the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, those of you who know your Bible, you talk about the Tigris and Euphrates are in there. The Euphrates in particular flows down through Iraq and into the Persian Gulf. The Persian Gulf then has a peninsula that juts out that is owned by Oman. And that peninsula juts out towards Bandar Abbas in Iran and forms the Straits of Hormuz. And the Strait of Hormuz, there north of Oman and south of Iran, connects the Gulf of Oman and the Persian Gulf together. The Gulf of Oman then flows out into what is called the Arabian Sea. And the Arabian Sea is actually the northeastern section of the Indian Ocean. So due west of our India, due north of the Indian Ocean is the Arabian Sea, which flows into the Sea of Oman, the Gulf of Oman, which flows into the Straits of Hormuz, which flows into the Persian Gulf. It is a major, major shipping channel. And if you control the Straits of Hormuz, you control, I think it's more than 50% of the global oil market. Now, why do you control that? Well, we always talk about Saudi Arabia. But there's also the United Arab Emirates. Dubai mostly tapped out its oil, but Abu Dhabi has a ton of oil. And up in the northwest corner of the Persian Gulf is a tiny little country you might have heard of called Kuwait. I don't know that it still is, but at one point, Kuwait City was the wealthiest city on planet Earth. Now, I can give you a sense from growing up in Dubai in the 1980s, the police cars and the dump trucks, the garbage trucks, they were Mercedes. They were made by Mercedes. The garbage trucks, the police cars, they were all made by Mercedes-Benz. Fabulously wealthy part of the world. And that wealth comes from oil. And Iran and Iraq and Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates, they produce massive amount of wealth for the world in terms of oil. And it all has to flow through the Straits of Hormuz. Oman does not have the navy on the south end that Iran does on the north end to control access. The other problem with the Straits of Hormuz is, given the geography and the land mass of the peninsula of Oman that sticks out, you have to veer further north to Iran if you're a heavy loaded oil tanker getting around it, or a tanker of any kind. Bahrain is an island in the Persian Gulf wedged between Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Qatar is increasingly a friend of Iran. Bahrain is very pro-America. Not only do we have military bases in Qatar and Bahrain, but we also have the Fifth Fleet, which is headquartered in Bahrain. Now, when I was a kid, the Fifth Fleet was headquartered in Bahrain, but Dubai had the dry docks, so we always had sailors at our house. We had sailors, just tons and tons of sailors that would show up from when I was a kid. My parents organized block parties for the enlisted. My oldest sister wound up marrying her Navy recruiter. I mean, we've got a long relationship with the U.S. Navy in our house, from living in Dubai and carrying and feeding for lots of sailors over the years, the enlisted from various ships, the Samuel B. Roberts, the USS Coronado, I lose track of all of the ships that we had come to our house over the years. Iran is the threat. The President of the United States is now suggesting that he wants to cut a deal with Iran, that in exchange for Iran giving up its nuclear capabilities and its uranium enrichment, that we will allow the regime to live on. If we went through with this deal, it would be akin to the Obama deal. It would be that bad. The deals Joe Biden tried to do, it would be that bad. And I don't actually think Donald Trump wants to do that. What I think Donald Trump is doing is he's making a deal to the Iranians to show the American people that he's not going in guns blazing. And then when Iran rejects the deal, which it's in the process of doing today, the president can go to the American people and legitimately say, I've done what needed to be done. I've tried to negotiate. They've rejected it. They won't give up their nukes. They are a threat. You all know they're a threat. We're going to blow them back to Kingdom Come. And that's what I hope he does. But there's a larger issue here, and this gets back to the Ukrainian issue that I started the show with. There is a division within the Trump White House. And let me explain to you how the divisions work. It's been well documented. You've heard the stories. They're all true. The president likes for his team to fight. Not physically, but to argue. It's a battle of ideas. And the president of the United States lets them fight and see how the fights plays out, and then he ultimately decides. The biggest fight in this White House is over the future direction of the United States. Do we surrender our claim to be world leader in favor of protecting the Western Hemisphere? Or do we continue to try to lead? And if we try to lead, how do we do it? Donald Trump's not a big fan of global alliances, but that's what you have to do if you want to lead the world, because you can't do it alone. The Marco Rubio wing, as I understand it, is about a robust American presence in the world for freedom everywhere. Not a neocon, we're going to invade countries, but the free peoples of the world are going to stand together against the rising tyranny from Iran, Russia, and China. Right now, while we are looking at blowing up Iran, China and Russia are doing military operations and military strategy with Iran, and they were with the Venezuelan government until a few weeks ago. There is a growing belief within the J.D. Vance wing of the White House that we are a nation in decline, and you can't say that. In fact, I think if you were to ask J.D. Vance if he believed the nation was in decline, he would vehemently disagree with you. But the people around him believe it to be so, and I think he privately does. And their view is that we have arrived at a point in the world, much like the British Empire was when it was in decline, and the British switched strategies from being the globally dominant hegemon to picking its battles carefully and backstabbing its allies, doing what was in Britain's best interest, not in the interest of a global alliance. And that makes sense to a lot of people. You got to put America first. President Trump says America first. We're in decline. We can't afford to be the global leader in the world, and we're going to have to start ceding territory. China can take Asia. Russia can take Europe. They can fight over Africa. We keep the Western Hemisphere. The problem is we live in a different age than the 1800s and the decline of the British Empire. We live in a world where China can fire nuclear missiles and hit Washington, D.C. or New York from outside of Beijing. That's why the president wants Greenland, because any missile fired from China would sail over Greenland on the way to the East Coast. Same with Russia. The problem is we have Canada, which is a pretty big player in the Western Hemisphere, and Mexico too. You can't really dictate terms to them. You can try, but not very well. We can never fully secure the Western Hemisphere, and meanwhile, the United States is still the dominant military on the planet. China just launched a PR campaign claiming that China has built an airborne aircraft carrier, much like something you would see in Marvel. It's a giant, giant plane from which other planes can be launched. There is not a person on the planet who believes the Chinese actually have developed such a thing, but the Chinese are selling it, and that's kind of a sign that the Chinese aren't where they need to be. The Chinese PR campaign has come after an attempted coup in China, the collapse of the Chinese military leadership, being kicked out of the Western Hemisphere, losing control of Panama. And the only military on the planet that could do an operation like we did in Venezuela was the United States. China and Russia now realize they do not have our military capabilities. So I don't see why we should surrender from the world, although we do have to think in terms of alliances. And the big tests here now are Iran and Ukraine. I know many of you don't want to support Ukraine, but the way the president has structured the support for Ukraine, we're not losing money. We're making money on it. It's a win-win for us. And also, Vladimir Putin is not our friend. He is a bad guy. Vladimir Putin has been wily and outlasted multiple American presidents, from Bill Clinton to George Bush to Barack Obama to Donald Trump's first term to Joe Biden. And Donald Trump is on the verge of letting Putin get the better of him now with his broken promises. Putin's in Ukraine. We either rally the Western world to fight for freedom with our allies, or China and Russia aren't going to cede us the Western Hemisphere. There's too much value in the Western Hemisphere. The Western Hemisphere was dominated by colonial powers in the 1700s and 1800s because of the wealth of the Western Hemisphere. They're not going to allow us to control that wealth. It's willfully naive to think that we can be left alone in the Western Hemisphere. Or we can reassert ourselves wisely and strategically with our allies, from Japan and Australia and Taiwan to our European partners, to our Middle Eastern allies. We can assert ourselves, and we can begin by destabilizing the Iranian, Chinese, Russian nexus of influence, because the Chinese and the Russians depend on a lot of Iranian oil. The Russians depend on Iranian drone tech, which, remember, Iran was making its drones on Margarita Island off the coast of Venezuela until a few weeks ago. Russia has lost part of its drone capabilities because of Iran's drone capability being blown up by the Americans. If you further destabilize the Iranian regime, not only do you further restrict China's oil at a time that China's in economic downturn. You restrict Russia's ability to get its oil out through Iran to the rest of the world, and you restrict Russia's ability to get Iranian drones to blow up Ukraine. Destabilizing Iran is a linchpin in the strategy to upend Russia and China. And unfortunately, within the Trump administration, there are some who think we should leave it all alone and mind our own business. It's the voice of Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is now on far-left networks attacking Donald Trump. By the way, if you're in her district, vote for Tom Gray in that special election. We cannot allow the Iranian-Russian-Chinese axis to exist and grow because they're not going to leave us alone in the Western Hemisphere. They want to dominate the world. So right now, we have a choice. Mr. President, you have a choice. Either stretch the wings of the American eagle to provide protection for our friends and attack our enemies, or we will have to surrender to a Western and Eastern world order that realigns against us as people realize the American president is not willing to live up to the promises America has made in the past and is willing to surrender our leadership of the world. And if we surrender it, the people who take over the mantle of leadership will not have our interests at heart.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
122 in the Trustdale.com 24-hour traffic center. Better news in Marietta. Crash cleared. All lanes open. 75 southbound at Windy Hill Road. Still some lingering delays back through Marietta, but should get better. Right lane crash in Forsyth County, 400 northbound north of McFarland Parkway. Traffic brought to you by SuperSure. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get SuperSure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, but SuperSure. Coming soon. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
I don't believe it.
5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
Oh, that is awesome. Are you serious?
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m. from 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Y'all, a lot of big companies are starting to deploy AI. Small businesses are getting left behind, overwhelmed by what it is and how to use it. If you've got a small business of 100 employees or less, Vision Computer could be a secret weapon for you to keep up with the big guys and for a lot less. They do managed IT, where you actually have real human beings helping you, but they help you learn how to incorporate efficiencies like AI. They help you do managed security so your network's not going down and you're not getting hacked. They keep you highly efficient so your employees, they're not calling the boss, they're not calling the in-house overworked IT guy. They just call them at 404 Compute, and you can too. Call Vision Computer today at 404 Computer. Go to visioncomputers.com. Let Vision Computers bring efficiencies to your networking, efficiencies to your computers, and let your employees be efficient employees and help you keep up with the big guys. Call them at 404 Compute.
Have you noticed how most home improvement companies offer a discount? Get $500 off your roof or siding. Buy 4 windows, get the 5th one free. Or buy today, this deal expires tomorrow. You know, those discounts. Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you? Those aren't really discounts. It's just their normal price, but set in a way that makes you think you're getting a deal. Plus, a whole lot of pressure to buy right then and right there. At Exovations, we give you a fair price for your siding, windows, and roofing projects. No high-pressure sales tactics, no phony discounts. Plus, our prices are firm for the project we quote. None of that, oh, our material and labor went up during the project kind of scenarios. Discover what stress-free remodeling looks like and schedule your free quote today at exovations.com. That's EXOVATIONS.com.
I'm so excited to hear my son's band play tonight. They've been, be right back. They've been rehearsing, bathroom break. Overactive bladder can mean missing out on life's moments, navigating life around the nearest bathroom instead of the next experience. Medtronic therapies have treated nearly 500,000 people worldwide with bladder or bowel control problems. Let Medtronic show you what's possible. Visit medtronic.com/bladderhelp to learn how.
It's Eric. I had a house that was built in the 40s, and all the settling over time, the foundation, it started cracking. We could see the cracks of the walls. The doors started sticking. We knew there was a problem. It took us a long time to find someone to help us. Well, you don't need to take a long time. Go to Engineered Solutions of Georgia. They're the only foundation repair company in the entire state of Georgia with a team of licensed engineers on staff giving you the highest quality work for your home from the start.
678 ESOG now.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. If you're over 55 and with one of the big three carriers, like Verizon, you may notice they don't talk much about their 55-plus discounts. That's so customers like you keep paying their regular higher rates to boost their bottom line. You deserve better service, with 100% US-based experts, better value, with plans starting at $20, and a company that's built for people 50-plus, like me. Not convinced? Give your current carrier a call. Ask about the 55-plus plan you've earned. See how long it takes to get a real person on the line, and if they try to talk you out of it. But if you want something better, call Consumer Cellular. We've got the same great coverage, and our US-based experts can get you switched in about 20 minutes. Switch now to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com for your second month free.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
On the go, take Eric's podcasts with you. Available wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search Eric Erickson.
Greetings, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Bear with me if you are on the phones. I will get to you. We've got a lot of stuff going on here. Lots and lots. The White House has just released a social media post, and good for them on this. The White House putting out information about Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother, with her picture, asking people for help if they have seen her or anything unusual in Arizona to call 911 if you see anybody out there. I'm on the radio out in Arizona, a number of stations out there in Phoenix and Tucson and elsewhere. And yeah, this actually is a disturbing story. And it does appear to be a crime scene. Just keep that family in your prayers. My goodness. When we come back, I got to move to things progressive white people like. At the top of the next hour, I want to dive into some of the Jeffrey Epstein stuff at the top of the third hour of the show. But we got to get to things white people like first, progressive white people in particular. But before we get there, let me tell you something I like and that you'll like is Vision Computers. They can build you computers. They can upgrade your computers as well. My goodness, they have incredible upgrades for computers. They can take your existing computer, as long as it's Windows 11 compatible, put it on a new machine so it's up to date and fast, and you won't skip a beat. They can also give you their managed IT service, for which they're famous for. Coast to coast, Hawaii, Alaska, you're all included. Call them at 404-COMPUTER. Go to visioncomputers.com. They can build you computers, and by the way, their managed IT comes with it. Or you can pay for the managed IT. It's like $199 per computer. Might get a discount if you mentioned Eric, but they will keep you up to date. They'll help you avoid scams. They can even show you, if you're a business, how to incorporate AI to make you more efficient, make your employees more efficient, and you talk to real people. You call them at 404-COMPUTE, you're going to talk to real people. They're managed IT, real people, not AI chatbots, and it really works. Call Vision Computers today at 404-COMPUTE. See how they can save your business money, boost your productivity, and let your employees be great employees, not computer technicians for your company. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. Anybody, any business, coast to coast, can take advantage of Vision Computers.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic,
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office asking for the public's help in finding a hit-and-run driver. A 15-year-old girl was hit by a vehicle in the parking lot of Abundant Life Church on Strickland Road. Now, this happened on January 14th. The teen's still in the hospital this afternoon recovering. Investigators say they've hit a dead end when it comes to finding the vehicle and the driver, so they're asking for your help. Stacey Miller with Forsyth County Sheriff's Office says they're looking for a black SUV.
It left the church parking lot and traveled towards Atlanta Highway on Strickland Road.
Anybody with information being asked to call police. Increasing clouds today, but the temperatures heading in the right direction. Highs around 60. Rain showers late this evening, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A celebration of life will be held this Saturday for that Gwinnett County police officer who was killed in the line of duty, Pradeep Tamang. He was shot and killed last week. The service will be at 10 a.m. at 12 Stone Church on Buford Drive in Lawrenceville. New data shows the latest COVID vaccines continue to protect against severe illness, even with newer variants circulating. A large study of U.S. veterans found strong protection against hospitalization and deaths months after vaccination. Kelly Clarkson announcing that the Kelly Clarkson Show will end after its 7th season because she wants to spend more time away from the daily talk show grind to prioritize time with her children, she says, especially after the recent death of her ex-husband, Brandon Blackstock, from cancer. In a statement on X, Kelly Clarkson announcing that the show will end after its 7th season, which premiered last September and runs through the fall. Walmart, the newest member of the $1 Trillion Club, America's largest retailer, passed the $1 trillion market cap milestone today as its stock soared on Wall Street. Walmart shares climbing nearly 25% last year and are up more than 11% so far in 2026. Walmart joins an exclusive club made up almost entirely of big tech companies. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow right now is down 436 at 48,970. NASDAQ also down more than 2%, and the S&P's down more than a full percent. It's 132.
This is Jonathan Geller at D. Geller & Son Jewelers with my dad Mike, and this Valentine's Day at D. Geller & Son, when you spend just $199 or more, we're including a free diamond necklace.
What? Wait, what?
Only at D. Geller & Son, Atlanta's Valentine's destination since 1939.
Where are you getting these ideas?
In Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
Affordable jewelry for everyone is at D. Geller & Son.
Do you depend on space heaters and a fireplace to stay warm inside your home? This is Daniel Jape from Jape Services, your local and licensed heating and air experts. From routine maintenance to installing a new furnace or handling emergency repairs, when you call Jape Services, I guarantee you'll be treated like family. Get warm this winter with Jape Services. Visit japeservices.com, JAPE services.com.
We're the ones to trust, you can count on us. Jape Services.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Here's your retirement to-do list. Analyze market history, track interest rates, understand AI's impact, watch midterm election volatility, plan out income, manage tax rates, evaluate healthcare, and time Social Security correctly. Sound exhausting? Well, you could just work with Capital Investment Advisors and let our team handle all of it for you. If you're nearing retirement, don't manage all these decisions alone. Visit yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
Live team coverage traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Still watching a crash in the right lane in Forsyth County, 400 northbound, just north of McFarland Parkway, exit 12, some delays there. And the left lane construction in DeKalb should be breaking down soon, but nonetheless, it's slowing the ride, 20 eastbound, getting out past Panola Road, exit 71. From the TrustDale.com 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies, warming up to the upper 50s to low 60s through this afternoon. Scattered rain showers arrive later this evening, lows tonight in the low 40s.
54 degrees in Lilburn, 56 here in Midtown. More news at 2 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Let me go to the phones. Brandon, you're going to be up first. Welcome to the show.
Eric,
Brandon, you there?
When we take a look at this, yes, sir. You hear me?
Yep, I hear you now.
So when we take a look at this whole situation that's going on in Ukraine, we keep talking about what everybody's doing, but it doesn't seem like anybody wants to do the one thing that you're going to have to do to take that ground back. Either you want that ground or you don't. All this spending
you got to say that again, Brandon. Your cell
crap.
phone broke up for a minute. You got to say that again.
I said, these people that talk about doing all this stuff, dealing with Putin, he understands one thing. If you want that ground back, the people in Europe are going to have to mount up a ground war, and they're going to have to go fight to take it back. You're not going to be able to spend your way or sanction your way into taking this ground back from Putin, because he will never give it back unless you kill him. And I just don't understand why people don't seem to either you're willing to fight for it or you're not.
So, okay, I actually have an answer for you on this one because you're right. The problem goes back to the Biden administration. When the Biden team refused to give Ukraine the weapons that it said its infantry needed on the battlefield, and the reason is because the Biden administration was afraid they would use the weapons to do strikes into Russia, even though the Ukrainians insisted they needed to take their land back. And so we actually, with the Biden administration, hamstrung Ukraine's ground game effort. Now, to the extent that they have a ground game effort, here's the fact that continues to blow my mind, and it is not an exaggeration. This is actual truth. If you were to put a snail, and again, just bear with me on this one. I have researched the snot out of this. I heard this example. It turns out to be true. If you were to put a snail on the border of Ukraine and Russia and march the snail into Ukraine at the pace, the average pace that a snail can travel, which is not much, the snail would have made it further into Ukraine today than the Russians have made it into Ukraine. Steve Witkoff, for reasons that should blow all of our minds, wants to hand Russians territory they haven't conquered that the snail would have crossed into. The Russians haven't made it yet. The problem, and you see, Democrats are so broken by Donald Trump and so broken when it comes to Donald Trump, they can't be honest on this. The Biden administration repeatedly hamstrung the Ukrainians who wanted to wage a more aggressive campaign against the Russians in their territory, and they were denied the arms that they did not have access to be able to do that. And frankly, at this point, both sides are using drones so effectively, ground war campaigns are not as necessary as having the missiles to be able to blow up strongholds, and the Ukrainians have been denied the missiles. Only now are they starting to get the missiles from the Trump administration because Trump has allowed the NATO allies to flood them with missiles. The Russians have not been able to gain ground in Ukraine. And so it's just become this painful war of attrition. But through sanctions, like, for example, to the president's credit, he got a deal with India. And in the deal with India, we'll lower the tariff to 18%. The Indians will, in exchange, stop buying Russian oil. That will further cripple the Russian economy. One of the strategies President Trump has employed to help Ukraine is to keep oil prices low, to flood the market with as much oil as possible. That has kept prices low. The Russians have to sell Russian oil less than the global markets because of Russian oil sanctions. So to get around the sanctions to incentivize purchases, the Russians have had to keep their oil prices low. And that then hurts the Russian economy as well. And cripples their warfighting efforts. The president has also been boosting our natural gas shipments to Europe so that the Europeans are buying less Russian natural gas so that they're starving the Russians of cash there. There are ways to do this. One of the biggest ways is to equip the Ukrainians, which Biden didn't do to the extent Biden was publicly claiming. And Trump finally is. Back to the phones. Patty, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, Patty.
Hey, Eric. How do I approach friends and family members that say the Epstein files implicate Trump as a child molester? I think they're getting it from the mainstream media, but one of them said they got it from the files. Like, how do they have access?
So the Trump administration dumped 3 million pages. One of the pages that is in the affidavit, there are actually 2 allegations. One of which, if you pay attention to it, essentially makes the claim based on the date that a 14-year-old Jeffrey Epstein was providing underage girls to a 16-year-old Donald Trump. Basically, if you take the date the accusation surfaced and you did the math on their ages, it would have been a 14 and a 16-year-old at a time they didn't know each other. The bigger allegation comes from the early 2000s. There is a claim from a woman in the file that Donald Trump raped her or someone else and was bitten by this woman that Donald Trump raped on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Here's the problem with the allegation. The Justice Department under the Biden team investigated the allegation. The woman was determined to be mentally ill. She tried to file a lawsuit against Donald Trump on these same allegations, and it was thrown out of court because she recanted the allegations once it got into court and has subsequently been ruled to be mentally ill. So they're essentially relying on a woman who had her case thrown out of court for being mentally ill and not telling the truth to make the claim that Donald Trump is somehow raping women. Yeah, I mean, but people, this is how broken people are. They want to believe this claim. And it's not only is it not substantiated, it's been directly refuted by the woman herself once she got treatment for her mental illness.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
But people just hate Donald Trump, and they want to believe the worst thing. I mean, the real story here, Patty, is Steve Bannon, who apparently had a very long relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and attempted to rehabilitate him. And then Kathy, I think her name is Kathy Rumler. She was Obama's general counsel. Apparently spent a lot of time trying to help Jeffrey Epstein get out of trouble. Those are the 2 biggest culprits and everything. But yeah, the stuff about the president is made up stuff. Deeply made up stuff, but the left is going to believe it just because they want to believe it. And I'm going to get back to it at the top of the hour. I've got a lot to say about the situation. But before I get to that, I want to talk about things white people like. And in particular, things white progressive people like. I want to play for you some audio here. For those of you watching on the video stream, I don't have the video here. I've got the audio of it. And this is James Tallarico. If you go to James Tallarico's biography on Wikipedia, it says James Tallarico is an American politician and Presbyterian seminarian. What they mean by Presbyterian seminarian is, this is a guy who can talk about faith. He can Jesus speak for the left. The left is constantly trying to find a progressive who can speak Jesus to evangelical voters and try to lure them to their side. While I've been speaking to you, I've been multitasking and also was able to snag the video of Tallarico for people who happen to be watching on the live stream and to be able to weave it into our social media. This is James Tallarico. He's given an interview. He's talking about faith issues. This is a guy whose claim to fame is he was a public school teacher, but also he wants everyone to know he's religious, that he's a Christian, and that conservatives don't speak for Christianity. And here he is. Just listen.
But I say all this in terms of, in context of abortion, because before God comes over Mary and we have the incarnation, God asks for Mary's consent, which is remarkable. I mean, go back and read this in Luke. I mean, the angel comes down and asks Mary if this is something she wants to do. And she says, if it is God's will, let it be done. Let it be. Let it happen. So to me, that is an affirmation in one of our most central stories that creation has to be done with consent. You cannot force someone to create. Creation is one of the most sacred acts that we engage in as human beings. But that has to be done with consent. It has to be done with freedom. And to me, that is absolutely consistent with the ministry and life and death of Jesus. And so that's how I come down on that side of the issue.
You get this, he's trying to use the birth of Christ or the conception of Christ to say he's for abortion because it was done with consent. Ladies and gentlemen, I realize maybe he's never read the Bible, though he probably has since he went to seminary. Luke 1, verses 26 through 38. In the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to a city Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin betrothed to a man whose name was Joseph of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. And he came to her and said, "Greetings, O favored one, the Lord is with you." But she was greatly troubled at the saying and tried to discern what sort of greeting this might be. And the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God, and behold, you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you shall name him Jesus." Mary says, "How shall this be, since I am a virgin?" And the angel says, "The Holy Spirit will come upon you, and the power of the Most High will overshadow you. Therefore, the child will be born, will be called Holy, the Son of God." There's no request for consent. Now, what James Tallarico and progressive Christians will do is say, "Oh, are you saying God raped Mary?" No, it's not what I'm saying at all. But he didn't ask for her consent. God Almighty found someone he knew would be willing, who would honor him, and it happened. But he didn't go in and ask her to sign a consent form or even give her consent. He found a faithful servant of the Lord and says, "Congratulations, you found favor with God, and you are going to give birth to the Son of God, to the Messiah." And she was faithful, and she did not object. But there was no prearranged consent, and he will twist that, as will progressive Christians, say if you don't think there was consent first, then you're saying God raped her. And that's how they try to structure the argument. It's not true. And in fact, he goes through and he says creation. If you're a listener to the program, you know I've been taking my Sunday school class for 7 weeks through the book, for the very first chapter of the Bible, Genesis 1. And in Genesis 1, God uses the word bara. Bara is a word that only is applied to God, not to us, and that is creation. We can make things, but we can't create things. God can create things and fully form those things. And in fact, when you get to the passage on the 6th day of God creating man, the word bara is used 3 times. God makes them, he makes them in his image, and he makes them male and female. He bara, bara, bara. That means he creates them in a way we can't create. By the way, this is why Christians cannot actually believe in transgenderism. You may think you're a Christian and say you believe in transgenderism, but not really, because the very first chapter of the Bible says God baras us male and female. That means God himself makes us male and female. We play no role in making us male and female. We cannot make people male and female. But James Tallarico is one of those things that white people like, a skinny white guy in Texas to take on the Republicans. They did this with Beto O'Rourke. They put him on the cover of Vanity Fair. They talked about how he used the F word and how cool he was because he did skateboards, and then he lost. James Tallarico is running against Jasmine Crockett to be the nominee for the Democrats in Texas, and white people would rather him than a black woman. And that's what this is about. The elevation of James Tallarico, including by the women on The View, including Sonny Huston and Whoopi Goldberg, is all about elevating a white guy in Texas over a black woman in Texas. It is the racism Democrats play themselves. Republicans actually think Jasmine Crockett would be very easy to beat because of her persona online and on TV these days. But she was actually a pretty competent local legislator in Texas and a member of Congress until she decided she wanted the left's attention and she wanted to fight Donald Trump the way she's been fighting him to get attention on the left. It's been a campaign tactic. As a number of Republicans will tell you privately in Washington, D.C., Marjorie Taylor Greene is a dumb person who tries to pretend to be smart, and Jasmine Crockett is a smart person who pretends to be dumb for the cameras. But the left doesn't like her because they want a white, skinny guy in Texas who can speak Jesus as if he learned Christianity through Rosetta Stone. James Tallarico is less likely to disagree with left-wing orthodoxy than any Christian evangelical who regularly goes to churches with Donald Trump. You're more likely to find dissent on the right from regular church-going evangelicals than you'll get from a guy like James Tallarico on the left, who, by the way, went to a church whose pastor was performing gay marriages well before gay marriage was legal. That's the sort of church he grew up in. But he can say things and sound like a Christian, and so the left has embraced him to be their Jesus speaker. Why? Because non-white voters on the left are starting to become, or non-white voters on the Democratic Party are starting to move to the right, in large part because of faith issues. This is why the Democrats want to elevate a guy like James Tallarico, because they believe if you just say things that are Jesus-y, you can keep the Hispanic Christians from leaving to the GOP. The problem is when James Tallarico opens his mouth, Hispanic Christians, who are the most socially conservative people in America, hear a heretic, and he is a heretic. The things James Tallarico says, for example, he says, Jesus never said anything about homosexuality or consensual sex. Jesus never said anything about abortion. Jesus also said in the red letters of the Bible to listen to the apostles, many of whom said things about those issues. The sleight of hand by the left trying to elevate heretics is really kind of comedic gold when you think about it. They always try to find skinny white guys who say things that sound like Jesus-y sort of stuff to try to get Hispanic voters to vote for him. Meanwhile, what's really going on here in Texas is white elite progressives don't want a black woman to get a nomination in Texas, so they've elevated the heretic instead.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
152 in the TrustDale.com 24-hour traffic center. Brake lights into Norcross. A crash on 85 northbound at Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99, blocking at least one lane, trying to pin down what lane is blocked there, but nonetheless, you're stacked up leaving I-285. And still slow in the work zone that's breaking down into Cab 20 eastbound. They're clearing the barrels out of the left lane at Panola Road. Traffic brought to you by SuperSure. Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get SuperSure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, but SuperSure. Coming soon. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When the weather is at its worst, the winds are gusting as high as 35 miles per hour, so that means the feels-like wind chills will be close to zero.
We're at our best. A burst pipe causes significant flooding inside the Fulton County Jail. The Weather Watch never stops.
The conditions could become very dangerous very quickly.
95.5 WSB.
Your severe weather station.
Belinda Skelton with my friend Damon to tell his story about his experience with virtual imaging. It's the gold standard in early detection of heart disease and cancer. I've been encouraging listeners to get screened using their EBCT scan. It can save your life by giving you your calcium score in your arteries, and it can detect cancer at the earliest stages. Damon, tell us your story.
I have an awful family history of both heart disease and cancer. Both parents and grandparents had one or the other. Also, my annual physicals have always been eye-opening with very bad levels of cholesterol and high blood pressure. I heard the free offer from virtual imaging. It was easy. Took 10 minutes. I was nervous, but the score came back 0.
Awesome.
Yeah. What a relief. They say for the most part, with a 0 score, I have very little chance of suffering a heart attack for the next 5 years.
Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan with few minimum requirements. Call now at 770-678-SCAN or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. Did you know the water pressure regulator is the heartbeat of every home? It can affect all things in your plumbing system, and when it's not regulated, it is the main cause of most plumbing problems. They only last about 8 years. Have Superior Plumbing check yours.
Hi, I'm Tom Shane. Since 1929, Shane Company has helped millions of customers find their dream engagement ring. I still hand-select every ruby and sapphire center stone, choosing each one for its unique color and life. We're proud to offer the widest selection of beautiful colored gemstones for your engagement ring and fine jewelry. because a friend wants you to have nothing but the best. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Not only are uneven concrete surfaces around your house eyesores, they can be serious tripping hazards. AquaGuard's concrete lifting solution is just what you need. Go to aquaguard.net today and set up a free inspection. Remember,
AquaGuard.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Benjamin Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G service. What's up with that? Ben Franklin wasn't even a president. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be in business with an American wireless company that supports our vets in a big way and keeps all their customer service in this country. That's important. And you'll be on the same towers the big carriers use, so you'll get the same 5G service without the inflated price. So hang on to your Benjamins and switch to Pure Talk for a Jackson and a Lincoln. No contract, no hidden fees. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and you'll get 50% off your first month when you switch. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, for an American wireless company that is truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
So, being all over Georgia with my radio show, I'm getting a lot of questions about Rick Jackson. Rick Jackson is an institution in the state of Georgia, and he has decided to throw his hat in the ring for governor in Georgia as a Republican. The guy is a self-funding billionaire. He's not going to have to fundraise. He can fund the whole race on his own. And for those of you who don't know, Rick Jackson has been just instrumental in a lot of the great things that have happened in Georgia. He worked with Brian Kemp during COVID to get the state reopened and make sure there was adequate nursing supply in the state of Georgia. He's funded adoptions and foster care in the state. He's made major donations to a lot of churches in the state, a lot of community groups in the state. No one saw this coming. And it is all the buzz in Georgia political circles today, Democrats and Republicans, Jackson getting in the race. And there's a problem for the Republicans and the Democrats. It's really hard to say a bad word about this guy, given his enormous amount of charitable giving across the state to help impoverished families and kids and adoptions. And this is a real curveball in the gubernatorial race in Georgia. Rick Jackson getting in. Phenomenal guy, by the way, just a decent human being. Speaking of decent human beings, Old Glory Bank was started by a group of decent human beings, conservatives who were deeply concerned about the debanking trends that were happening during the Biden administration. They decided to start a bank that would put privacy first and protect conservatives. And they started this bank. Then Trump gets elected. You don't have to worry about debanking trends as much anymore, but you still got to worry about your business and the pressure from progressives against businesses. That's where Old Glory Bank comes in. For individuals and businesses, Old Glory Bank is deeply, deeply committed to growing your business and growing you, your assets, your wealth accumulation, protecting you. You go to oldglorybank.com/Eric. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. You can find out more about Old Glory Bank for individuals, businesses, veterans, active duty military, first responders. You get great deals from them. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. oldglorybank.com/Eric. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, terms and conditions apply.
Everyone has an opinion.
I think you have gotten better at moving through the water.
Eric Von Haessler has an opinion.
Well, that's why you're not the host of the show.
And some advice.
And I don't care about you wearing a mask, but I care about Eric making fun of you. So the answer is no.
Eric Von Haessler, today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Howdy do, partner. It's me, the little cowboy in your car radio. Are you looking for a way to bring some adventure to your boring old plate of food? Reach for Texas Pete. For almost 100 years, it's been the trusted hot sauce to liven up eggs, chicken, barbecue, even spaghetti. That's almost as long as I've been with Pepper, my trusty steed. So pick up Texas Pete hot sauce and let flavor run wild. Okay, I'm done. Get me out of this car radio.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter. This Valentine's Day at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, when you spend just $199 or more, they're including a free diamond necklace plus a box of chocolates with your purchase. They've been Atlanta's Valentine's Day destination since 1939, and they're your one-stop shop for the perfect jewelry gift this year, with 2 showrooms near you in Kennesaw and Sandy Springs. Shop their Valentine's Day gift guide online at dgeller.com.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story, a scathing new report on the troubled Fulton County Jail. It finds there's a long way to go to fix the problem of overcrowding.
Calling it an urgent situation, Shruti Laxman with the ACLU of Georgia says overcrowding at the Fulton County lockup is a major concern. And they've also found
last year's data still shows that hundreds of people were held beyond 90 days without being formally charged.
She says at the arrest stage, more diversions need to be made. And she says prosecutors and judges play a critical role in solving the problem. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
60 degrees in Atlanta. When do rain showers arrive? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. A celebration of life will be held this Saturday for Gwinnett County Police Officer Pradeep Tamang, who was shot and killed in the line of duty over the weekend. The service will be at 10 a.m. at 12 Stone Church on Buford Drive in Lawrenceville. At the conclusion of the service, there will be a procession to Tim Stewart Funeral Home on Simonton Road. Members of the community are encouraged to line the procession route. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help finding a hit-and-run driver. It happened at Abundant Life Church on Strickland Road, January 14th.
A 15-year-old was leaving her church service it was a Wednesday evening youth service, and she was struck by a vehicle in the parking lot.
Stacy Miller with the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office says it was a black SUV. Investigators have hit a dead end locating the driver. Anyone with information should call the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. The injured teen is still in the hospital recovering. A Navy fighter jet shoots down an Iranian drone as it was approaching U.S. ships in the Arabian Sea.
The U.S. Central Command says the Iranian drone was aggressively approaching the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln, and its intent was unclear. When it continued to approach, despite de-escalatory measures by U.S. forces, it was shot down.
Correspondent Cammie McCormick reports the military says this occurred not long after Iranian forces harassed a U.S.-flagged merchant vessel in the Strait of Hormuz. The Georgia House approves a bill to expand the places where people can surrender newborns without prosecution. Representative Mike Cameron says the goal is to get babies to safe places.
So that's the whole idea, where we're not dropping babies indiscriminately places, those kind of things that's happened before.
Infants under 30 days can now be surrendered at police locations, medical facilities, and ambulance service locations. That measure now goes to this state Senate. It is 2:02, and this news is sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today, 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz, and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no, and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now. 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
If you've seen me recently, I've probably stopped to show you pictures of my new closet designed by Artisan Custom Closets. It's Ashley Frasca. From the consultation to the final install, I am still in awe of my newly organized space. Let Artisan help you simplify your life. Schedule your free design consultation with a certified master artisan designer at artisancustomclosets.com. That's artisancustomclosets.com. Reward yourself with affordable luxury.
It's 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Alex Williams.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. Got some better news for those traveling 85 north toward Norcross. The trouble that was in a center lane has cleared. All lanes are back open. Still slow from 285, and it's already put extra pressure on 285 eastbound the inner loop from Chamblee-Dunwoody Road, just trying to make your way over to Doraville and those ramps to I-85 north. Construction wrapped up into Cab 20 eastbound past Panola Road, exit number 71. And seeing some volume fill in through Midtown, 75-85 south from 17th Street down past North Avenue. From the Trustdale.com 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy skies warming up to the upper 50s to low 60s through this afternoon. Scattered rain showers arrive later this evening. Lows tonight in the low 40s.
55 in Woodstock, 58 in East Point, and 56 in Duluth. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is bank. B-A-N-K. Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is bank. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
My fellow Americans, it's Eric Erickson here. I'm delighted to have you with me. The phone number is 877-973-7425. White progressive activists have been caught confronting a black border patroller. No, he is ICE, seen his uniform, agent. He is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And the white progressives are calling him the N-word, specifically House and then the N-word. They're doing that to black officers who are participating in deportations. Not only are they doing that to him, but they claim to have identified the Hispanic Border Patrol agent who shot Alex Preddy. And they are putting up what they believe is his home address online, urging people to avenge Alex Preddy. It was two Hispanic officers who shot him. And the white people are going after the black and Hispanic people who are supporting deportations. You Democrats do that. Also, there is one of the funniest videos I think I've ever seen circulating online right now. It is a vehicle with ICE agents being followed by a group of Subarus. And of course, it is Subarus in Minneapolis. The ICE agents are part of a deportation effort. They go into the roundabout. One of the ICE vehicles splits off to go do the deportation. The other ICE vehicle stays in the roundabout. And the progressives in the Subarus, I'm not making this up, they continue to circle the roundabout with the ICE agent circling the roundabout, who successfully distracts them in the roundabout while the other ICE agents carry out the deportation. It looks like something out of a Looney Tunes cartoon. Literally, two ICE vehicles go into the roundabout, one splits off. The Subarus continue to follow the rear vehicle, and it just drives in a circle around the roundabout while the deportation happens. These people are not bright. They're also deeply racist, calling a black man the N-word because he works for the federal government. Now, I'm going to shift gears here. Belinda, I love you. Thank you for being here with me. And I apologize in advance for what might happen. Friends, let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein. This conspiracy is never going to go away. We now have millions of documents from the Epstein files. Folks, there's no there. In fact, people are really outraged at Todd Blanche for saying there aren't going to be prosecutions. Because it appears that Jeffrey Epstein was the abuser, maybe Prince Andrew, possibly a couple of others, but by and large, these were a group of dirty old men who were friends with an even dirtier old man. Peter Attia is a health influencer that a lot of you, I suspect, know of. He appears to have been deeply involved with and knew about Jeffrey Epstein's predilections. In fact, Peter Attia, in an email exchange, said the most difficult thing with being friends with Jeffrey Epstein is that he couldn't tell people about Jeffrey Epstein's deviancies. At one point, there appears to be emails of Attia's wife wanting him to come home because there's something wrong with his kid, and he's hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein and doesn't want to leave. There is Bill Gates. I said Bill Clinton the other day. It's Bill Gates who allegedly was trying to figure out a way to get his wife antibiotics to avoid her getting an STD that he had contracted, allegedly. There are a lot of men behaving indecently but not abusing young women. What we have, though, is actually serious incompetence from the Pam Bondi wing of the Department of Justice. Pam Bondi's team, in releasing the documents, redacted a good bit of stuff, but you know what they didn't redact? The names of about 70 victims, some of whom were underage and had worked very hard to keep their names out of the press. They've all been released now to the public. Young women who had been abused by Jeffrey Epstein. The Justice Department, they redacted a lot, but not the names of the victims. There were sexually explicit photos released by the Justice Department. Think about this. There were some names that were redacted and some images of children. The faces of the kids were redacted, but there's a bunch of nude pictures, naked women and others being released. But none of it shows lawbreaking. Very few of the emails suggest anybody broke the law other than Jeffrey Epstein. And so many people have built up so much about Jeffrey Epstein and the conspiracy theories about Jeffrey Epstein that the only way they're going to be able to rationalize that there's no there is to presume that there's another massive cover-up of documents that'll never be released. You're not going to, if you're convinced that Jeffrey Epstein was the ringleader of a global satanic cabal of human traffickers, and that is not what the documents show, you're not going to be able to believe it. You're going to have to presume that documents were simply not released. But there's something else here as well. How many of you are going to walk away from a guy like Peter Attia, who, by the way, was never credibly was never a credible person to listen to on health, but a lot of people did because he had a big following and his clout gave him credibility, and he's now been exposed as a really good friend of Jeffrey Epstein. Are you going to stop listening to him now? Or are you going to rationalize, well, his health advice was good, so I'm going to keep rationalizing ways to listen to him? What about Steve Bannon? Steve Bannon had one of the closest relationships with Jeffrey Epstein and spent a lot of time with Jeffrey Epstein. And are you people going to continue to, will Kevin Roberts of the Heritage Foundation continue to go on his program? What about other members of Congress? Will y'all keep going on Jeffrey Epstein or on Steve Bannon's program? Because, you know, a lot of you people out there wanted to tie Jeffrey Epstein to a lot of Democrats and say anybody who was friends with Jeffrey Epstein needs to be shunned. But, oh, my gosh, it's Steve Bannon. So now let's excuse Steve Bannon, who was trying to rehabilitate Jeffrey Epstein. And you Democrats who are cheering me on, what about Kathy Rumler? Kathy Rummler was Barack Obama's White House counsel, now works at Goldman Sachs, who clearly had a very close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and denied helping Jeffrey Epstein with his legal situation. And the emails clearly show that she was deeply involved in helping Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, he was buying her gifts. This is from the Wall Street Journal. When Catherine Rummler, a top Washington lawyer with an elite pedigree, joined Goldman Sachs in 2020, she disclosed a connection that didn't appear on her LinkedIn page, Jeffrey Epstein. But it's what Goldman didn't know about her association with the notorious sex offender, details that have become public in the stream of documents released that now looms over Rummler and the bank. Rummler told Goldman's leaders when they hired her she had business dealings with Epstein when she was a white-collar defense attorney at Latham Watkins. It would later become public she met Epstein dozens of times and exchanged friendly emails for years. It turned out she was in the courtroom when Epstein was arraigned after his arrest on sex trafficking charges, and Epstein had listed her as one of the executors on his will as recently as 2019. Epstein removed her name before he died in August of 2019 while he was in prison. The extent of the relationship has drawn scrutiny inside Goldman Sachs, where the 54-year-old lawyer is general counsel and a top advisor to David Solomon, the CEO. John Rogers, the powerful Goldman executive who brought Rummler to the bank, recently told a close associate he was formulating a contingency plan in which she would leave later this year. He says it's completely untrue. Rummler says she had a professional association with Epstein. You can read the documents themselves. This was more than a professional relationship. Epstein had inner workings of her business life and would get her spa trips and things like that. This was very much not just a hands-off, arm's-length professional relationship. And you don't have to believe me. You can read the documents yourself. But the same goes for Steve Bannon. The same goes for Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon had a very close friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. Peter Attia, a close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. So now, what do some of you do? I don't know the answer to this for you, but I know some of you listen right now. You're big Steve Bannon fans. You're big Peter Attia fans. You've built these people up to be credible, to be influential, to be insiders you respect, who guide and shape and form your opinions. And you have also believed that Jeffrey Epstein was a human trafficker and the people who are the closest people in his orbit have got to be bad people. And it turns out the people you've allowed to shape your opinions on things were the close friends with Jeffrey Epstein. So what do? Democrats are trying to make a big deal about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, but the documents actually paint a more complex picture where the biggest allegations in the Jeffrey Epstein files about Donald Trump were actually thoroughly debunked and dismissed, and the only people circulating them are wackadoo progressives who don't care about the truth. But Bill Clinton got a lot of ties to Jeffrey Epstein, videoed or photographed in the pool with women. And here's the bottom line on Jeffrey Epstein. The there that you thought was there was not there. What instead was there was a man accumulating wealth through shady means who cultivated and curated friendships with wealthy and powerful people and put those people in compromising situations and then took pictures of them so that he could use them at a later date if he needed to. Some of them maintained those friendships and took advantage of the women. Prince Andrew, one of them. Lots of questions about Leon Black, who used to be the head of Apollo Global Management until he was forced out over the Epstein ties. Kathy Rummler looks like she had way more of a close relationship with Epstein than she's ever let on, and she worked for Barack Obama. What are you going to do? The conspiracy is never going to die now because the things that people were looking for, the theirs that people were hoping would be there, aren't there. And, I fall back on the same thing. If there was really shady stuff about Donald Trump in there, darn well Barack Obama or Joe Biden would have leaked it. I mean, they threw everything they could to stop Donald Trump during the Biden administration. They indicted him in New York. They indicted him in D.C. They indicted him in Florida. They indicted him in Georgia. They threw everything at him. If there were silver bullets in there to destroy Donald Trump with ties to Jeffrey Epstein, you know damn well that stuff would have been leaked out by the Biden administration. And instead, what did they find when they looked? They found an insane woman making insane allegations that were ultimately thrown out in court because the woman's insane. So even the Biden Justice Department refused to leak that stuff because it didn't hold up. And yet today, we have progressives trying to smear Donald Trump over this. But we strangely have an eerie quiet on the right about Steve Bannon and on the left about Catherine Rumler. I would suggest to you that if Jeffrey Epstein was that sordid, demented, and evil, and these people clearly had an idea of his evil and depravity, and they maintained their friendships with him, perhaps you should not put as much stock in what they say, and perhaps you should shun them. We have lost shame in this country. We have lost the sense of shame in this country. Maybe things like this wouldn't happen so much if we got that back. And in the meantime, if you're at Goldman Sachs today, you should question why Ms. Rumler's still there. And if you're on the right, you should question why conservatives still go on Steve Bannon's program. Because I was told that Jeffrey Epstein was the leader of a globalist human trafficking movement, and there's a lot to suggest at least 70 young women were abused by Epstein at least. And there are a lot of implications that a lot of the people close to him knew his depravity, and yet they maintained their friendships. So why should we maintain giving them credibility?
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 in the Trustdale.com 24-hour traffic center. Still watching slow traffic, 285 eastbound, the inner loop between Dorville and Dunwoody. All of it trying to get onto 85 north, which remains slow up toward Jimmy Carter Boulevard. And if you're traveling in downtown, a little volume, 75-85 southbound from 17th Street down to I-20. Traffic brought to you by Pizza Hut. Here's a game day tip. Order Pizza Hut before the first hut. And right now, the Big New Yorker is just $10. The biggest pizza for the biggest games, only at Pizza Hut. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is bank. B-A-N-K. Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is bank. Join me live at 3 for the Von Haessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5 p.m.
Belinda Skelton with my friend Damon to tell his story about his experience with virtual imaging. It's the gold standard in early detection of heart disease and cancer. I've been encouraging listeners to get screened using their EB-CT scan. It can save your life by giving you your calcium score in your arteries, and it can detect cancer at the earliest stages. Damon, tell us your story.
I have an awful family history of both heart disease and cancer. Both parents and grandparents had one or the other. Also, my annual physicals have always been eye-opening with very bad levels of cholesterol and high blood pressure. I heard the free offer from Virtual Imaging. It was easy. Took 10 minutes. I was nervous, but the score came back 0.
Awesome.
Yeah. What a relief. They say for the most part, with a 0 score, I have very little chance of suffering a heart attack for the next 5 years.
Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan with few minimum requirements. Call now at 770-678-SCAN or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Chris, it's a brand new year, and that means it's a great time to get organized and get your financial house in order. So if that's one of your New Year's resolutions, Hoffman Financial Group is here to help with that, aren't we?
Yeah, so we make it simple, right? And it goes back to saving people time. Don't worry about you having to work with us. We work for you. So if you were to reach out to us, we would start with something as simple as the Portfolio X-ray. Simple as far as your time that you need to provide us some data points on, but we'll take the hours and we'll apply our expertise to generate a pretty comprehensive look at your financial life, specifically your risk profile, the fees in your portfolio, the performance over last year, 3 years, 5 years, the last 10 years against benchmarks. We'll also stress test it. Can we go back in time and say what would have happened to your portfolio during the Great Recession or the dot-com bubble that burst or the COVID correction? It'll give you an indication of how much your money is at risk. All of those components mixed into one simple 10 to 14 page report. We'll give you a copy of it. We'll walk you through it. And as I say, I have yet to see one that didn't have 2 or 3 golden nuggets, as I call them, of opportunity for you to contemplate possibly enhancing your financial future moving forward.
Get 2026 started on the right foot with this complimentary offer from Hoffman Financial Group. There's no cost for the portfolio x-ray, and the report is yours to keep. Call 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858 and online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Elevate your sleep experience with an adjustable bed and make everyday activities like reading, watching TV, and working in bed more comfortable. At the Original Mattress Factory, we know not all adjustable beds are created equal. You want one that has the features you actually need, like anti-snore and zero-gravity positions. We offer high-quality adjustable bases paired with a hand-built mattress, all at a factory direct value. And we have product in stock and ready when you are. Visit an OMF location to elevate your sleep experience today.
It's Eric. I had a house that was built in the 40s, and all the settling over time, the foundation, it started cracking. We could see the cracks of the walls. The doors started sticking. We knew there was a problem. Took us a long time to find someone to help us. Well, you don't need to take a long time. Go to Engineered Solutions of Georgia. They're the only foundation repair company in the entire state of Georgia with a team of licensed engineers on staff giving you the highest quality work for your home from the start.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB. Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here, 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, let me go to Brenda's phone call. Welcome to the show, Brenda. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Great. What's going on?
I just wondered, Michelle and Barack Obama are on the list of people who visited or fraternized with Epstein, and they're never mentioned. It goes straight to Trump, because he's the topic of the day, but I just wondered why they're never mentioned.
So they listen, and I realize if you're a diehard partisan here, an Obama hater, you may not believe it, but Trump and Epstein grew up in the same part of the world in New York City. That they ran in the same powerful circles back in the day, so they obviously had an acquaintance there. Bill Clinton did with Epstein because Epstein was a Democrat, but Obama really didn't have a relationship with it. He had plenty of relationships with Hollywood creeps, but not really with Epstein. To the extent he and Epstein crossed paths, it was because Epstein was a big player within Democratic Party circles for a time. But Obama, the Obamas, both Michelle and Barack, have plenty of unsavory people in their orbit, particularly in the Hollywood segment. But Epstein just wasn't in their world. The Epstein relationship was not nearly as concrete with Epstein and Obama. And like with the rumors the left is spreading on Trump that aren't true, there are people on the right spreading rumors about Obama that just really aren't there and not proven in the documents. Got plenty of bad stuff to say about Obama, but he and Epstein weren't in the same world. Now, there's also something else I can say, but I'm not going to. Bad Erickson, stop thinking that. Okay. Also, I got to tell you about Eden Pure, because you can get 3 of them and you can save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Eric3. You get 3 of them and save $200. If you're unhappy, they got a money back guarantee. You will be happy because they eliminate odors. They're small. You can plug them into the wall, plug them in with a USB cord. I keep one in my travel bag because they're highly portable, and if I'm in a hotel room or a rental car that someone smoked in, it'll wipe out those odors, wipes out every odor. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code ERIC3, ERICK3. They really do work. You get 3 of them, upstairs, downstairs, your basement, your travel bag, your RV, wherever you need them. They get rid of pet dander, dust, pollen, because they're an air purifier. They also eliminate all odors. No odor can stand up to an ozone that it produces like odor bleach. It just wipes out odors at the source where you can't reach the Eden Pure can. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code ERIC3, ERICK3.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. It's just in. The House passes a bill to end the partial government shutdown. The measure now goes to President Trump, and it sets the stage for a debate over funding for Homeland Security. The U.S. shoots down an Iranian drone that was approaching the USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea. The White House says it was approaching in an aggressive manner. A new report calls for urgent action to deal with overcrowding at the Fulton County Jail. The ACLU of Georgia's third report examining the jail population finds the first 7 months of 2025, the jail population rose by 20% and 4 more people died in custody. The report shows many people at the jail don't need to be there.
There's still a lot of progress that needs to be made to ensure that people aren't incarcerated unnecessarily.
Shruti Lakshman with the ACLU of Georgia says last year's data shows hundreds of people were held beyond 90 days without being formally charged. New details in the search for Today Show host Savannah Guthrie's mother in southern Arizona. The Pima County Sheriff's Department says DNA samples found at 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's home belonged to her. They did not confirm if the samples were blood or not. The sheriff says Guthrie was taken from the home against her will. A bill to make it easier to hunt feral hogs in Georgia is making its way to the State House.
Section 1 of the bill would allow residents and non-residents to trap and kill feral hogs without a hunting or trapping license.
And Representative Rob Clifton says hunters would also be allowed to use drones to locate the hogs. The measure now heads to the state Senate. It is 2:31. This news is sponsored by FGA Roofing. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
I don't know what happened, but these days, people seem to go straight to the worst-case scenario. Okay, the garage door stops going up and down, and they think the whole thing is trash. No middle ground. It's the garbage or nothing. Perfectly good door, perfectly good motor, and you spend thousands of dollars you don't even have on a new one, instead of just fixing the part that's broken. Ugh. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. If you crash into your door, okay, we're probably going to have to replace it. But almost any other failure can be fixed with a partial repair, saving you thousands of dollars. If your door won't go up or down at all, it could just be a broken spring, and the motor and tracks are fine. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come over and make it right. And, don't crash into your door.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, and we've partnered with Cupid to bring you the best Valentine's Day gifts, even if you forgot. We won't tell. From heart necklaces with sparkling diamonds to stylish gold hoops, every piece is made with love. Plus, there's still time to propose. We make it easy to create their dream engagement ring. We have meaningful gifts for every budget. It'll look like you've been planning this for months. Come see us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
It is 2:34 and time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Alex Williams.
Been a rough go of it into Norcross on I-85 northbound. Bill got a new trouble spot just north of Jimmy Carter Boulevard. That's in the right lane, jamming up the ride from I-285, putting extra pressure on 285 eastbound with those delays stretching back into Dunwoody. Pothole repair just cleared in Kennesaw. Center lane is back open, 75 southbound at Barrett Parkway, exit number 269. From the justdale.com 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, warming up to the upper 50s to low 60s. Scattered rain showers arrive later this evening. They'll continue overnight into early tomorrow morning with lows in the low 40s. As the rain moves out tomorrow, the cooler air moves in, highs in the low 50s, dropping down to the 20s by Thursday morning.
Right now it's 55 in Cartersville, 57 in Douglasville, and 58 in Riverdale. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here. Phone number is 877-973-7425 should you wish to be on the program. By the way, one of the side effects with the Epstein stuff is kind of the moral panic it has created. There's a picture that has been released of an education leader. I'm not going to say his name. You can understand why when I tell you he's a billionaire funder in education. And his picture was released with 3 young children whose faces are redacted. Someone circulated this online and said, we need to know this guy's name. Look at him. He's surrounded with children on Epstein's Island. This man is pictured with his children on vacation. It's his children he's with on vacation. It is nothing related to human trafficking. Human trafficking, by the way, it's a real thing. And it's a thing we need to be concerned about. And I also think that a lot of the hype on the Epstein stuff potentially, because it hasn't played out, could get people to be somewhat dismissive of human trafficking. But it is a very, very real thing. It's a very real thing. And I just, it's something. I want to shift gears from this sordidness, though, because I got something I'm been meaning to talk about. There's some data on this, and we got to pivot to it. For as long as I can remember. By the way, I'm sorry, I got to pause. There's some breaking news here. The House of Representatives has just passed the Senate Appropriations Bill to reopen the government, so the very short-lived government shutdown will now be no more. It'll be signed by the president later today. The government will reopen. Not that any of you even knew the government was shut down. Very little of it was actually closed. But now, let me pivot. For as long as I can remember, if you are college educated, you can lose your job and be unemployed, but the odds of you being unemployed were far less than for non-college educated Americans. For Americans without college degrees, unemployment has always been higher than for Americans with college degrees. Side note, Americans with trade skills and technical degrees have always had higher unemployment than college-educated Americans, but also get off unemployment a lot quicker than Americans with college degrees if they go unemployment. Why? Because if you're a plumber, you may bounce between jobs, but everybody needs a good plumber, and you can pick up quick. At this point, though, according to the Wall Street Journal, college-educated Americans and blue-collar Americans, non-college-educated Americans. I'm trying to find a way that doesn't sound pejorative because they're not uneducated. Oftentimes, they're smarter than the college-educated people. They just don't have a college degree. So people without a college degree and people with a college degree now are at parity, particularly white-collar Americans with college degrees, are beginning to get hit by not just AI, but efficiencies in general. That's the problem with AI, and that's the problem that's going to have to be dealt with, is that people with college degrees who just come in at bottom of the rung jobs are having those jobs displaced by AI. A buddy of mine was telling me the other day he had to do a presentation on a loan document and what the implications are of the loan based on how much money was going to be borrowed, the down payments and all that. He said in the past he probably would have found someone to help him do it, and instead he put it in Claude, the AI agent, and Claude did it for him, prepared the whole presentation for him. Claude couldn't do his job, but Claude could do the job of an underling, of an assistant, of someone right out of college. There are going to be fields that I think to a degree are protected. A lot of lawyers are going to be protected in large part because of something many of you don't realize. When you go to law school, one of the classes that you take in your first year in law school, and they'll call it different things, but basically it's library. Those of you who are old, y'all remember the card catalogs from when we were kids. For those of you younger than me, you used to go to the library and there was a big box full of small drawers, and you'd pull out the drawers. They were arranged in alphabetical order, and there were cards, and you'd flip through trying to look for a book. You could find the code. You knew what was the system now called? The Dewey Decimal System. And you would go find your book based on the card catalog. And then it got digitized, and people could put in books, and you go to the library and you could find the book. It is very hard to do legal research. Have y'all ever wondered this? Let me describe this system for you. And nowadays, a lot of it is you have a program called Westlaw. Westlaw is a proprietary system where every single court case and statute in America is in Westlaw. And you can put in the key legal words, and it can bring up the cases, and then it can keynote the cases so you can follow the case to see, was the case overturned? Was the case modified? Where was the case cited? You do an entire class in this library, legal research, as a first-year lawyer. Those of you who are practicing law right now, you remember you would go in, and in Westlaw, they have an entire key system. And the key is the little symbol, and you have key words, and you can go, and let's take adverse possession. Adverse possession is something very simple for you to understand. It's one of the very first things you learn in law school because you have to read a bunch of court cases to be able to understand the rule of adverse possession. And adverse possession is conjured from English common law, and you can read court cases, and they're very easy to understand the rules of adverse possession. What is adverse possession? It is when you control land that you do not own, you manage the land open and notorious, and you do so for a certain number of times, and it varies by jurisdiction, but generally it's 15 years. So, for example, there is a plot of land next to my house, and for 15 years, we have mowed this land, we have maintained this land, we have propped up this land, and we've done it all, and all of my neighbors think that I own this land, but I don't. I could file an adverse possession claim on this piece of property, because it is my wife and I keep it mowed, we keep it trimmed, we keep the weeds out of it, we manage the erosion on it, we manage the trees on it. We've done this for 15 years in Georgia. It's open and notorious ownership. Everybody in my neighborhood even thinks it's my land. In fact, when something goes wrong with the land, we get the homeowner complaints on the land. I could claim this land. Haven't done it. Not sure I will, but for 15 years, we've maintained this land, even though it's not ours, and we've done it actually because otherwise it would get overgrown and there would be problems and snakes and trash and vagrants and all that sort of stuff, so we've taken care of it. That's adverse possession, and there's an entire body of law on adverse possession. And so you can go into the Westlaw system, you can put in adverse possession, put in Georgia, and I can find every case in Georgia about adverse possession. And then it will flag the biggest cases about adverse possession, and I can find the biggest cases on adverse possession, the ones that went to the Georgia Supreme Court, the ones that are cited the most, the ones that shaped the law, the ones that are the most current cases, and I can write an argument for myself that I own this plot of land based on Georgia's adverse possession rules under various Georgia Supreme Court cases, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. An AI chatbot like Claude or ChatGPT cannot do that. Do you know why? Because they don't have access to Westlaw. I believe Westlaw is putting some AI in, and so is LexisNexis, which is comparable. LexisNexis has a database of all the newspapers that were in print before the internet existed, so you can do searches of articles back from the 1950s and 60s in LexisNexis. But you got to have a membership, you got to have, and you got to pay. It's expensive, whether it's the printed page or whether it's the computer system. Legal research is kind of siloed from the rest of the world. It's a very unique form of research. You have to have someone who's trained in it to be able to do it. And what we're finding with the AI chatbots is that they make up cases and they find cases that have been overruled and don't know it. So lawyers are probably okay, but computer programmers at the lower level, probably not. Architecture firms, I've talked about that one. My son's school, if he makes it into Sanford, and please, people at Sanford, let him in and give him a scholarship, they're already teaching the incoming freshmen and sophomores and juniors and seniors about AI and how to use it in like the architecture firms, and also how to have extra skills so that when you come in, you're going to be higher than where the AI is. White-collar jobs are being impacted by AI. Blue-collar jobs, not so much. Lawyers and plumbers and electricians, good luck getting the robot to wire the house or plumb the pipes or get rid of the clogs or put in the dishwashers and all that. It's not going to happen. So white-collar workers for a while now have been separating themselves from blue-collar workers in how they vote. White-collar workers have more and more moved Democrat. Democrats protect their interests, they think, their social interests, their social status. In fact, for the party that vilifies the Republicans as the party of the rich, the Democrats have become the party of the ultra-wealthy. Because the ultra-wealthy leave hedonistic lifestyles the Democrats support. Wealthy Democrats want abortions. Wealthy Democrats want access to legal drugs. Wealthy Democrats want to live hedonistic lifestyles, knowing that it's the blue-collar workers of America and the poor who are going to have to deal with the migrants and the immigrants and the crime and all of that. They don't want you to have guns, but they want security. They live in a world different from us. And white-collar workers, as they've gotten wealthier, have more and more moved to be Democrat. The problem for those white-collar workers is that the Democrats are really bad on AI issues. And they're going to start losing their jobs. And when the Democrats start losing their jobs, the white-collar Democrats, they're probably going to become more Republican. They had been more Republican. It's interesting to watch the white-collar workers of America invent technology that is going to put the white-collar workers out of jobs. And the blue-collar workers are going to keep their jobs, because they have talents and skill sets a lot of the white-collar guys don't. Look, I am absolutely clueless. We've got to have somebody come look at our dishwasher tomorrow. It's got a drain problem. It leaked. I can't fix it. I'm incompetent when it comes to stuff like that. I'm putting together a squat rack in my office. It's taken me 4 days to figure out which tools I need to put it together. Now, I can put it together once I got tools. I had to get some tools because we didn't have the ones at home I needed. I can do that. Not well, but I can do it. But putting together furniture, plumbing, stuff like that, nope, no way, no how, can't do it, totally incompetent. I can do a legal brief. I know how to do that, something most of you can't do. And that's a job that's going to last. But for a lot of the white-collar workers out there at the bottom rung of accountancy and computer programming and stuff, they're working their ways out of jobs. And you know what's happening as they're losing their jobs? They're more mad at a system that allowed this to happen, and they're moving back to the GOP. And that's a problem for the Democrats as these people more and more lose their jobs and realize the Democratic Party protected their sexuality and their access to drugs and hedonism, but didn't protect the jobs they had that provided them the wealth with which they could prop up their hedonistic lifestyles. It's actually going to be kind of funny to watch this shift happen. To the phones, last caller of the day. Gary, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Eric. How are you today, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Listen, almost 50 years of industrial construction, pipe fitter, pipe welder, and even welding inspector at the end. Guys that work on the construction side, not maintenance. Maintenance sides, sometimes you can get some long runs. Construction side, you work yourself out of a job. So, and usually it's 6 and 7 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day. So when you get laid off, that's your vacation time. Take your wife on a vacation. You fix the cars. You go hunting. You do all the things you want to do that you can't do when you're working 6 and 7 days a week. And then sooner or later, somebody's going to call and say, hey, I need a good welder. I need this. I need that. Or if you're union, the hall will call you and say, you need to go your butt back to work. We need welders on this job. And that's the life. And it pays pretty good.
I have heard it pays pretty good. And yeah, I got to tell you, Gary, would be incompetent to do it. But I have a number of friends like you who are in the business. And you're right. They do these jobs, and between jobs, there's downtime. They have made a lot of money. They take their vacations, and there's always going to be a job waiting for them. It may be hard during economic slowdowns, but they're going to get the job back, as opposed to the white-collar guys like in technology. If you're over 40 and lose your job in tech, you may never work in technology again. It is a wild dichotomy. I've been tried to help a guy find a job, and was unsuccessful. He was a new computer programming and the like, works in Nashville, is desperate need for a job, been out of work for 2 years, cannot get a job because he's a white male over 40, and it's hard to get jobs in technology if you're a white male over 40. And it's sad to see this happen to so many people. And what's happening is a lot of these guys who are in that situation were not necessarily Trump fans, and they suddenly have become Trump fans because the system for which they were in for so long has turned against them because they're a white man over 40. And, well, those people are going to go vote. And that's why I think in November the Democrats probably can't take back the House, but they're not going to sweep as big as they otherwise would because so many people are so mad at the Democrats nationally because of stuff like this.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
251 in the Trustdale.com 24-hour traffic center. Still trying to clear up this crash out of the right lane. 85 northbound in Norcross, just north of Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99. Delays back to Chamblee-Tucker. 285 slow both ways getting onto 85 north. And a crash working up near Lake Allatoona. 75 northbound past Allatoona Gateway, exit 278. Slow in the ride through Ackworth. Traffic brought to you by Intuit TurboTax Expert Assist. TurboTax is redefining tax season with the opening of expert stores and offices nationwide, merging cutting-edge AI with local expertise for a stress-free experience. Find your local tax expert at TurboTax.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
I don't believe it.
5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
Oh, that is awesome. Are you serious?
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 5 p.m. from 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor and call a Groundworks company. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Schedule a free inspection with AquaGuard, a Groundworks company, and tell them Mike sent you.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
At All Care Georgia, we recognize that maintaining a healthy weight isn't just about how you look. It's also about feeling good and improving overall health. That's why our physicians and weight loss specialists offer comprehensive weight management plans customized for you. At All Care, we can assist with lifestyle modifications, provide nutritional counseling, and, if clinically appropriate, prescribe weight loss medications like GLP-1s as part of a medically supervised program. Learn more at allcare-ga/weight.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Remember that first paycheck when you started working all those years ago? You looked at the net amount and thought, whoa, what happened here? Ah, the joy of taxes. It could be this way with your retirement accounts. You know how much you've saved, but if you haven't planned for Uncle Sam, you could come up short in retirement. With tax laws constantly changing, there's a lot you need to know to make sure you're not paying more than your fair share. Financial advisor Mark Lloyd and the Lloyd Advisory Group can help you create a plan that shows you how taxes could affect you now and in the future. Set up your tax strategy session with Mark and the team at the Lloyd Advisory Group now. Call 770-766-5611. That's 770-766-5611. Make sure you know how these changes could affect you so you can avoid some of those whoa moments in retirement. Call 770-766-5611. Insurance products and services offered through Lloyd Advisory Group. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Greetings and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. I got to give you your laugh for the day, and I should have tied it into the white collar story. Do you know what Jains are? And I may be mispronouncing what Jains are. Jainism. It is an Indian religion of nonviolence towards all living creatures, with a very strict diet as a result of it. So at Stanford University, the food service is known to not be good, despite paying $7,944. And the students can get exempted if they have a religious dietary restriction. And so a lot of students at Stanford have claimed to be Jains. And as a result, they can't eat food that could cause harm to living creatures. That includes small insects and root vegetables. As a result, they get their $7,944 back from Stanford, and many of them are going to Whole Foods to eat. They're just gaming the system at Stanford, and they see nothing wrong with it. They're just proud of how they have gamed the system. And there is just something, I think, unethical about people who find these ways to game the system as opposed to fixing the system. They see nothing wrong with it at all. There you have it. While I've been on the program today, I have had 4 spam calls on my phone. And that's actually far less than what I had been getting. And I've noticed the reduction in spam calls that I've been getting since I started using Incogni. Incogni is spelled I-N-C-O-G-N-I. Incogni goes online to the data broker sites that can sell your phone number and your personal information, and generate the spam calls and generate the scams and harassment and doxing. And Incogni works behind the scenes. deleting your information from the internet. You don't have to be some VIP. They treat you like one. And right now you can sign up at Incogni, INCOGNI, Incogni.com/Eric, ERICK. Get 60% off at Incogni, and they will start working behind the scenes, wiping your information from online. They work as your representative, going to these sites, sending takedown notices, and they keep working day and night. Incogni.com/Eric, ERICK, Incogni.com/Eric.
When the weather is at its worst,
One of the greater wind gusts that I saw today was 60 miles per hour at the Atlanta airport.
we're at our best.
After last weekend's ice storm, Georgia DOT crews are ready to respond to this weekend's snow.
The Weather Watch never stops.
We have snow showers in Stonecrest, Conyers, Covington on I-20.
95.5 WSB.
Your severe weather station.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
A lot of the big banks are really having a field day raising more and more junk fees. And at the same time, if you are with one of the big banks, you kind of feel handcuffed to them. Well, I got this and that and the other thing with them. But there's something that people are doing, and it's baby steps, where maybe you don't move your checking account from the giant bank you're with, but maybe you open a savings account somewhere else. Test the waters, and piece by piece, gradually move your business from that high-fee bank to a credit union or online bank or small community bank that treats you better and actually knows who you are. Let me ask you, when is it you've ever gone into a giant bank that they know who you are? They don't. The people there change all the time, too. I'm Clark Howard.
News,
weather,
Traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. An ACLU report calls for urgent action to reduce the number of inmates at the troubled Fulton County Jail.
The new report finds not much progress has been made to solve the problem of dangerous overcrowding at the county lockup. Shruti Loxman with the ACLU of Georgia says this must be addressed sooner rather than later.
It is just very urgent that Fulton County officials, revisit the systemic drivers of overcrowding and renew their efforts towards population-reducing reform.
She says their report finds hundreds of people are being held beyond 90 days without ever being charged. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
60 degrees in Atlanta. What time do scattered showers move into the area? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. The House passes a spending bill to reopen the federal government.
On this vote, the yeas are 217 and nays are 214.
It now heads to President Trump for his signature. That would end the partial government shutdown. The bill does not provide funding for Homeland Security. DHS would operate on a 2-week stopgap bill as Democrats push for more guardrails on federal immigration operations around the country. There's a call today for Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard to testify to Congress about why she was present at last week's FBI raid of the Fulton County Election Office. Senator Mark Warner says Gabbard has many questions to answer.
Why she facilitated direct contact between the president and FBI agents on the ground.
Gabbard says her role overseeing election security led President Trump to direct her to observe the search. Businessman Rick Jackson is entering Georgia's race for governor. His announcement today shakes up the Republican field that includes Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, and Attorney General Chris Carr. Jackson says he's a